You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out, about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 121st edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined this evening by Ray. Hello, Ray.
Good evening, Andrew.
And newcomer to the show, Clint. Hi, Clint.
Good day, everyone.
Now, Clint and Ray, you guys sort of have a little previous relationship, being that you guys are in the PC Fallout 76 meetup thread and play online together every once in a while, correct?
Yes, we do.
That's great. And Sarah just hopped on the show tonight, too. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing this evening?
Wonderful. How are you guys?
Oh, gosh. It's the holy trinity of the PC crew now. Gosh. I can hear all about all of you guys' shenanigans tonight. So please just start spilling beans and telling stories all night long.
You are outnumbered.
Couchers are on the down low tonight. That is for sure.
Well, you just have to get onto them to get onto online on the show.
I need to get myself a PC so I can get myself a gaming bed, right, Sarah?
100%.
So I can just like sit in my bed and game.
I got so confused.
You're talking to yourself again.
My bed is seriously just the best place to game.
I would
honestly.
set the projector up for the ceiling so I could actually lay in bed instead of on the wall.
Oh, no, you'd fall asleep like that.
I fall asleep anyway.
I know. That's the problem.
Yeah. I need one of those painful wooden hard chairs, maybe just a one-legged chair so I have to balance and concentrate while I'm playing. So like if I do fall asleep, I'll like start to fall over or something.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I would like to see you do that. So make sure you video.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done the whole disconnected from server, walking into the wall or spinning in a circle type thing. You know, it's Jess and I played till 4 a.m. the other night. It was really
Oh my gosh, that is impressive.
See, today is the last day of the RPM challenge. Red Queen Hypothesis, my crappy garage rock band, has completed our 13th album for the RPM challenge. And that's what I've been doing all month. So I've been really jonesing playing Fallout because I like all my free time. I used to come home. My usual pattern is I come home. My wife is very nice and lets me like wind down from work for like a half an hour and play some Fallout before we do dinner and all that. So with the RPM challenge, it's just kind of cut out video games sort of like during the day and most of my normal times. I can only play video games at times when I could not record music because it'd be too loud, which would be when Moses, my kid, would be sleeping. Mm-hmm. So I've just basically, only played Fallout with Moses for a couple hours in the afternoon on the weekends. So it's been cut out of my life, and I'm so excited to jump back in. It's just been such a long month, and I keep telling my wife, like, the new Fallout game, I have to play the new Fallout. Like, she's like, it's not new anymore. Then that game came out in November. It's like 4 months old now, Andrew. Get over it. It's like, no, I got to play the new game. It's like, I'm so excited. No, but seriously, 2 feet, I'm excited to hop back into the game. I feel like I've been neglecting it and the community, and I'm just so excited to really get back into things here after the RPM challenge has concluded. But I'm also excited to put out this album and have everyone in the community be able to take a listen. In the past, I think I've uploaded the albums into the Fallout feed. So if people are interested in that, I could try to do that again if people want to hear the record. But again, glad to be back. Time off from Fallout is never a good thing for me. I got my Skyrim during lunchtime at work because I have my Switch. Now, why can't I have my Fallout 4 on my Switch? Why did that not happen last summer? And it better damn well happen this summer, Switch.
I agree.
What's the deal?
That Nintendo party thing they have, they need to announce that shit stat.
Seriously.
Yeah. All right, so tonight, guys, we got tons of feedback to get through. We're doing feedback from our community for our roundtable project. If you're not familiar with the show, what we do is we roll random characters. We have a random character generator over on our website at ASAPodcasting.com. Click on the Fallout feed section, and you'll find it just says random character generator, Fallout 76. Got one for Fallout 4. Also have one for Fallout New Vegas. If you like to play any of those games and you're tired of your old play style, go to our random character generator and roll yourself some fresh stats. If you're interested in playing along, you can record a few minutes, 5 minutes of feedback. Send it in to us at thefalloutfeed@gmail.com, like all of these good folks did this evening. We've got Eddie, Clint, Will, Jen, Sarah, Alex, Mark, and Phil to get through this evening. And some of the people like to do role play. Some people like to do sort of a statistical analysis of their gaming style. We all come up from different angles, and that's the whole point of this roundtable project is people having their random characters, makes you play in a very different style. So if everyone's playing on a different style, we'll get a really broad perspective of the best way to go about playing the game and the challenges that you find when you can't play your normal play style. So
yeah,
it's a very fun thing. You guys want to join in? We're about halfway through the season so far, but still, I'll repeat it out there. People seem sort of intimidated. Oh, they're too far into the season. No, at this point, you can still catch up very easily. We go so slowly. We only play 2 or 3 quests per every 2 weeks. So if you can do a quest every couple days, you can catch up with us really quickly. So if you're just sort of discovering the show, welcome. Come on in. Water is warm. Send us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Guys, let's go ahead and go around the room here a little bit. I want to see if you guys did anything together, first of all, or second of all, but first of all, let's go ahead and see. Sarah, did you play any Fallout this week?
Totally. Oh my goodness. I do have to tell you that something amazing happened. I went and did the excavator armor quest, which is a really short. I didn't realize it was such a short quest, right?
It's like just show up here.
Yeah, you basically just show up. And I put the excavator armor together without having to find anything.
Wow, you're a hoarder like crazy.
My hoarding skills have finally paid off.
That's amazing.
Eddie and Phil said that they turned around and they were expecting me to be searching for screws for the next week.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden I was like, well, I'm done.
That's great.
And I had all the pieces.
So what level is your character?
My character just hit level 42, I believe.
Oh, nice. I thought there was a minimum level cap for excavator. Do you remember what that is?
There's a 20. You can do a level 25 and a level 35 was what was available to me, and I did the level 35.
I didn't realize you could do as low as 25. That's cool. Yeah. I thought it was in the 30s somewhere, but 25. Wow, that's like Raider level, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, it gave me the option.
That's cool. Yeah. So I think I remember you like power armor every once in a while, right? You like power armor?
In Fallout 4, no, I was really never into power armor. In 76, it's like my jam. I've even gotten to the point where I am powering Poseidon by myself, and so I can get the cores. I log on, I go and I power Poseidon to get the core, get it spitting out cores for me, because now I'm a core hoarder.
Yeah. Core whore.
I'm a core whore, and I feel like a real
I don't
76 player now.
Way. I'm sorry, it's just the rhyming scheme was too good, man.
You're good. You're good. I am not taking offense to this. Anyone else who's taking offense, sorry, I am not offended. You're fine. But yeah, it's super, super fun, and I feel like a big girl.
I've only
I'm doing it.
I've only attempted Poseidon, I think, by myself maybe once and failed. But I didn't really know what I was doing and was kind of running around. And oh wait, there's pipes and you got to patch steam leaks. What? So you have it down now. You know where all the things are, and you can just burn through it in 15, 20 minutes or something.
Oh, I do not have it down that good yet. So the first time that I went through, actually, I tried to go through it with Ray one time a long time ago, and we failed. horribly.
Yeah.
And I think we walked in when it was like halfway through or something. We didn't even start at the very beginning. But recently I went through it with Eddie, and he kind of walked me through the steps. And so the first couple of times that I tried to do it by myself, it took me probably 30 minutes, and I could probably do it now in like maybe 20 minutes. I mean, I'm not like these guys that are going out there doing it in, 10 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever, but hopefully I'll get there, because a nice it's a nice spot, and I already have like my blueprints set up so that as soon as I like get it powered up, I've got my turrets like already blueprinted where I like it.
Just toss them down.
Just toss them down and you're good to go. So
anybody can chime in on this. What are the advantages of powering up the different power stations? There's 3 main power stations in the Appalachia wasteland here. What does powering up Poseidon give you something different than Thunder Mountain, than Monongahela?
I've only ever done Poseidon, so I don't know what the other 2 do.
mm-hmm.
That seems to be the popular one.
I think it's the easiest one. The Scorched that spawn there for me are only ever like level 1s or level 6s, and so you can just plink them off pretty easily.
Yeah,
I've never done the other 2. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. I bet you there's slight differences. If I remember right, I think Thunder Mountain also has a power core, not power core. What's it called? Fusion core generator. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly certain. Hey Ray, did you play any Fallout this week?
Yeah, I have quite a bit. Enough to where I decided to start a new character.
Yep.
I thought that I noticed that.
Well, what are you going to do?
You can't stay out of Harper's Ferry. Well, wait, where are you going? You're going to Mothman. Where's that?
That's in Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant. That's what I meant. Yeah. So spill. What happens? Who is this? What's going on?
So she's a brat out of the vault, and was trying to figure out the meaning of her life, and she happened to stumble through Point Pleasant, and in the Mothman Museum, she went to go use the restroom and found a strange door that was opened up, and went down and checked it out, and found the sanctuary of the Mothman cult. And read a couple of sermons and decided that's what was the meaning of her life. So now she's sporting the cultist robes and the headdress.
Yeah,
the antlers.
Yeah, that is my favorite. I was wearing the skeleton mask for a long time until I stumbled upon I think it's called the ritual mask. Is that what it's called? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then I found that, and I haven't gotten out of that since. I really like that mask.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly looking.
Very cool.
It's creepy.
I just wish that you could wear hats with masks.
Yeah.
Thinking of that mask and your nipple hat, that'd go down well.
Yes.
Oh, that would be terrifying.
Like the horns coming right out of the nipple. Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about your character there as it progresses there, Ray. Clint, did you happen to play any Fallout this week?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. I didn't get into it till sort of later in the week, but played a little yesterday with a few of the PC gang, and I think I turned up at the wrong time because Ray and Phil had 2 low-level characters trying to get through the fire breathers thing, and I turned up in the middle of it with a level 45 character and brought a whole stack of super mutants with me. So
nice.
Yeah, I think Abby had just cranked level 10 at that point.
Oh, geez. Yeah, a few times when I was starting my new roundtable characters, hopping on servers with other people, and then Pat would come over and want to help out, and I'm like, no, go away. You're sparking these level fucking 68 scorched over here, man. What are you doing? I'm level 10.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I are playing 2 characters from the start at the same time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good fun. But being low level at this stage, we have that same problem. If we go somewhere and there's a level 150 already in one of the mines or something like that, we just leave.
Yeah, you have to. You have
Yep.
to. So do you guys tell me about your play style? Do you each have a PC and you sort of like set them opposite of each other so you can sit and stare into each other's eyes lovingly as you play Fallout, or
Well, actually, they're side by side, but yeah, we have 2 PCs, and we started off. I was playing Fallout and enjoying it, and wanted to share, so we had to upgrade Charlene's PC to cope with it, and bought the game for her as well, and we started 2 new characters that way, and yeah,
That's
it's been
great.
good fun so far. Yeah, but we're talking to each other through our headsets, even though we're sitting about 3 feet apart.
That's really funny. But that's great that she's receptive. She a big gamer too?
No. This is the first game of any kind.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, she's currently trying to do the well, not right at the moment. She's at work, but currently trying to do the Fort McClintock.
Oh no.
Which,
the armory training stuff.
Yeah.
So difficult. But,
Oh god, that sucks.
Good practice.
It is. It hones those skills. Don't waste the ammo though on the target shooting part. Take a melee weapon. Go hit those Go hit those targets with your melee weapon. It's a lot faster, and you don't waste your ammo.
Oh, can you do that?
Yeah, someone told me. I don't know if they patched that or not, but at least during the beta and shortly afterward, that still was working.
Oh, we'll give it a try. I mean, we tried last night with me doing some of the shooting, and that wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
but it was in the final section.
Your partner can't hit the targets. How would it know? It should just know if the target disappears. That's all. That's all.
No, we tried it and it didn't work. It does work in the final section where the live fire area over in the distance.
Oh yeah.
The 2 of us stood up on the roof there and pinged off the robots quite happily, but not in the target area.
Now, the secret is way out of the bag about Camp McClintock. There are, as you enter the door and the lockers there is a military ammo bag for your ballistic fiber. Then across the way on the reception desk, there's one. And then right behind the reception desk, on the desk behind that, there's one. Then up the stairs underneath a roll of duct tape, there's one. Then in the bunks, when you go to where everyone sleeps, on the left bunk, you go in, there's one on the back table. Then you go outside and you go all the way to the outside area, where you do the last part. There's one on the floor, and then halfway through the cabin, there's another one on the floor. Is there one? There might be one in that sort of tank thing you were telling me about before.
Yeah, that's right. That little troop carrier that's just outside.
What was that thing called?
Troop carrier.
It's just a troop carrier. Someone had some sort of acronym or something for it. I forget what it was called.
APC, yeah.
APC.
Armored Personnel Carrier.
Armored Personnel. Okay, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so there's just a ton of ballistic fiber there. If you can get a fresh server, though. I was trying to get my stuff together because I'm in the last week's big project, while Mo was sleeping, was collecting all the glowing flora stuff so I could get my rad arch together. I finally got my rad arch together. I didn't even use it, guys. I just put it immediately in storage because I'm scared to death the griefer's going to come and destroy it, and I have to build that shit again. I am not going to risk it.
Oh, that's so sad.
I didn't even use it once. I put it immediately in storage.
Oh, that's so crappy.
Oh, I really want one of them.
Yeah. It's
pop it out, use it, pop it back in.
Yeah, I'm thinking, have people started doing that yet because of all the griefing damage? Like, have people started just having only their freaking camp there and just having blueprinted or stored the items so they can just whip out their camp every time they log on, so that see, that wouldn't help though, because your camp's not up when you're not logged on, so it wouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
But
It's
I just don't want to leave it out. You know what I mean? Just in case.
no, totally.
Not that I've ever had trouble with it. Like, I've never had griefing trouble at my camp. Out and about, I've had just a couple of interactions, but at my actual camp, no. I say I tucked it into a cliffside where it's kind of tough to get to, and I don't really have any buildings jutting out, so it's kind of hard to see. I've never had random people just stumble upon it. But still, I'm paranoid because of
Never know.
what happened to Leon and Will and everybody. Like, they just got demolished last week. I don't know if I mentioned on the show. I was eavesdropping on the PC group on the Discord. Oh, we need to plug the Discord back. But I was eavesdropping on there the other week. I was still trying to figure out. I'm a fucking technical dunce, everybody. So I have no idea how any of this stuff works. And so I was just listening because I couldn't figure out how to talk with you guys. So I was just listening.
It's push to talk, I think.
Yeah, I was trying that and it wasn't.
Okay.
I don't know.
All
They're
right.
either ignoring me or I don't know what's happening. But I was listening to them, and they were just in the process of each of them getting destroyed by the griefers were just ripping them apart. And they're like, "Oh God, we got to go store our junk so we don't lose our bags again and again and again and again." Like, oh my God.
It's super frustrating.
Yeah. Of course we don't know what form this new game system, the new thing is going to take. But I believe Alex called in with an Iguana Bits update that we'll get.
Yes. Good job, Alex.
But hopefully he'll talk about the new game modes that'll be coming out. I don't know. Do we know anything about that? There's supposed to be
no real details yet.
I hate that. They're always like, "Hey, and another big new announcement of all the exciting new things coming up in Fallout 76." That's all they ever say. They never actually say what the new exciting things are. I mean, they'll tell you titles of stuff, but you just left to guess about what it actually means
until it actually gets released, and then they put a little bit more detail in.
Yeah, it's like your normal Bethesda experience.
This morning, I noticed.
Say that again.
There was a fair bit on the Bethesda site Twitter feed, and it linked to somewhere this morning. And I was reading about
that's good.
Anything new and exciting off the top of your head?
It's something about a new workbench that does alcohol.
The distillery, yes.
Yeah. And depending on, it can take time. You make the alcohol, and then you've got to let it ferment for a while. And if you drink it fresh, you get some sort of benefit, and if you let it ferment, you get better benefits and things like that.
It sounds like Storm.
You also get hangovers and what have you.
Nice. Now, I think I browsed a little bit of it. I didn't go into detail and read any of the article, but I did find that it was cool. It seemed like, how in Skyrim they have like poison of magic damage or something, and you can like tip an arrow and then hit a mage with it, and then they won't be able to use as much magic. It seems like the alcohol will do that sort of thing to your enemies. Like, they'll have buffs where they can also do negative things to you, it seems, but like it'll do it double to your bad guys or something. I don't know. It sounded interesting though.
Yeah, it's one part it sets, I think beer sets your opponent on fire, but it might also set you on fire or something like that.
That's awesome.
What kind of beer is that? Wow.
Sounds fun, whatever it is.
I think that might be the firecracker whiskey.
Sorry.
Whiskey.
Yeah, that's the whiskey. Yeah, that's right.
That's a party.
Whiskey's my favorite drink, so there you go.
I'm sure. I'm sure Alex will guide us through all the great new advances coming out in the. I don't even remember what is that damn article called. Inside the Vault, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I asked him for an Atomic Shop update too, so hopefully he got to that as well. All right, guys, we have a lot of feedback to get through tonight, so let's go ahead and start burning through that. We'll go through them in the order received, which would be Eddie, Clint, Will, Jen, Sarah, Alex, Mark, and Phil. We also have an email from Craig, which I forwarded to both you, Sarah and Ray. If one of you'd like to read an email, later on in the show. And also we have a Fallout Terminal Velocity we're going to try to get if we have time. I'm not going to make it a 4-hour show again. So let's go ahead and roll with Eddie. So let's roll up to Michigan, guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Eddie with Season 7 feedback for Sammy Hopewell on the quest's early warnings, reassembly required, and coming to fruition. Sammy had been meaning to seek out this Abby ever since she found a note directing her to seek her out at the Wixon homestead. She had been to the mire a few times before, but never spent much time there. Most everything in the mire was twice as large and took 4 times the effort and ammo to kill. So Sammy got the help of her friend Sammy Please. For a pack raider, Sammy Please was an alright guy. His father, the General Gearhead, was a bit of a weirdo, though. When they reached Abby's bunker, they found an overseer's cache outside with some supplies and a holotape. Once inside the bunker, a recording started playing of the bunker's former owner, Abigail Singh. She apparently had the foresight that things weren't going as planned, and she left detailed instructions for someone in case they came along. First thing was to get an uplink that a responder named Madigan had. Luckily for her, she had already dealt with the psychotic nanny bot Rose and retrieved the uplink. Amy had the means to fix it in her bunker, and with the use of her workbench, Sammy fixed the uplink. She then had to use the SDS terminal and select uplink required to cue Abby's next instructions. The recording directed her to Raleigh Clay's bunker to retrieve some fan motors. On the way to Raleigh's bunker, Sammy and Sammy ran into Penelope. She was also looking for the fans, so they opted for strengths in numbers. Abby had given them the password to Raleigh's bunker, and inside another one of Abby's recordings said to look for the fan motings in the generator room of the bunker, but also to look for some heating coils. The trio then headed to Ella Ames' bunker for another heating coil, apparently because keeping all of them in one location is too convenient. They then ventured to a relay tower near the Sons of Dane's compound for another coil. While they were there, they helped their friend Christian take down a cargo bot to get a nuclear keycard for later shenanigans. They then headed back to Abby's bunker to upgrade the motors. With the motors fully upgraded, it was time to install them, and then go convince Rose to install the uplink by using a holotape Abby made to convince her. Sammy personally would prefer disassembling her, but whatever. The scorch detectors were located all along the highway running through the mire. The first was right outside Abby's bunker, another by a pile of tires, one by the sign at Dolly Sod's. As the trio approached the Harper's Ferry, they came across some super mutants fighting a scorch beast, so they helped the mutants kill the scorch beast, and then they killed the mutants. After installing the upgraded motor nearby, they installed the last one at the Valley Galleria. Penelope said she had other things to take care of, so Sammy and Sammy headed over to the top of the world to see Rose. Whatever was on the holotape had convinced her that in order to rebuild the Raiders, it was in Rose's best interest to help eliminate the Scorch threat. Rose said she'd install the uplink, so the Sammys returned to Abby's bunker again. Back at the bunker, a message from Abby stated they'd need to use a master holotape in her desk to bring the system online. They'd need to use it to gain access to the armory in Harper's Ferry. Once inside, they found the defensive turrets were very much active. But they worked their way through, destroying the turrets as they went. They then used the master holotape to download the routing schematic from Raleigh's terminal in the armory. That triggered another message from Abby. She stated that the access codes needed for the Scorch detective system were in Sam Blackwell's terminal in the old Capitol building. But as they exited the armory, a broadcast came over the emergency station on their Pip-Boys. Christian was nuking the White Spring. So Sammy and Christian spent the rest of their night killing ghouls and collecting cobalt flux. When they were done, Christian said he had enough flux to build Sammy a jetpack for her T-60 power armor. That guy is all right. Sammy then went back to her camp to get some rest before heading to Charleston. The next day, feeling well rested and well tuned, Sammy headed for the Capitol building ruins in Charleston. Once inside, on one of the upper levels, it was a short walk to Blackwell's office. Someone had written traitor on the wall plaque. One certainly could argue the real traitors were the ones who followed the fascist government in D.C. Sammy wiped out a bunch of super mutants and found out the terminal was locked. She'd have to make her way down to the basement. security terminal down there and use it to unlock it. She made her way down there using her rocket-powered All-Star bat to bash in the mutants' heads. Just after unlocking the terminal, she was blindsided by a 2x4 to the back of her head. More super mutants. She slaughtered away to the stairs, where she met up with Gardner, stopping in to see what Sammy was up to. The two chatted while Sammy downloaded the access codes. Soon the pitter-patter of big green feet filled the building again. Is there a factory churning out these things somewhere, she wondered? This time they were followed by Penelope, who was in a big hurry to download the codes for herself. Sammy pointed her in the right directions, and they headed back to Sammy's camp to make repairs before venturing up to the relay tower to load the master holotape. A short walk up the hill to the tower, and it was done. Now to head back to Abby's bunker. Again, these free staters seem great, but they sure do send you all over Appalachia to get a simple task done. Sammy reset the system, and another message from Abby came over the intercom, suggesting she seek out the Brotherhood of Steel. They had been working on their own tech for dealing with the Scorch Plague. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
What kind of sense does it make the holotapes and these dead people leave these holotapes? Is it like, were they recording these holotapes as people wrote choose your own adventure books? Like, oh, if the person does this thing, then I will automatically have a system auto play this message. But if they do this thing, then I'll play the other one. What fucking sense? Why are there not NPCs in this fucking game?
Listen. They've all been a little irradiated. We don't know how to fix their brain. We just got to roll with it.
It's the holotapes. The autoplay holotapes.
It is. What? Say it again.
That's just what they do. I mean, look, as you walk through Flatwoods when you first start out, holotape. It was just a thing.
They're all very good programmers.
Very good programmers.
Yes, they were great.
They were great. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, considering the computers they were using.
You walk into a room. You don't even have the fucking holotape on you, and your Pip Boy starts playing a holotape on me. You're like, what? I'm in a church, In the bunker, I understand. They could have like speakers going throughout the bunker.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand when you're in like just a random ass building that obviously doesn't have loudspeakers anywhere. And then a holotape just starts randomly playing that you don't have in your possession to play on your fucking Pip Boy.
Your Pip Boy has area chat.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. It's got Bluetooth.
You know what? They sure got a lot done on computers that look like they're from the 80s on what looks like MS-DOS.
Hey. That's the stuff I used to repair. Take it easy.
Take it easy. All right, fine. They look like they're from the 90s. Is that better?
They
look like
no, it was the 80s.
They look like the original Apple computers. The little Macs. You know what I'm talking about?
Was there one called a Tandy or something, Ray?
Tandy, yeah.
Was that
a Tandy? What is that?
How about a Wang? Was there a Wang?
There was.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's all these crazy
those ones that were all in one with the keyboard and everything. Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah.
There was
my TI-99, you used to have to plug it into a television set and a tape recorder.
How about, did you have that weird telephone thing? I mean, not a modem, but the old thing? You know
what?
Where you used to set
it on the...
Yeah, on the rubber cups.
Yeah, on the rubber cups.
Yeah, that was our modem.
We are blowing anyone who's under 25 right now is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
In my mind, and we're like basically the same age. You and me.
Oh god.
Did you have something with rubber cups?
And I not personally, but I've seen them in use.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, but I've seen them.
Okay.
Or tapes.
Cassette tapes. That's how we used to program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like punch cards with like holes in them, you know what I'm saying? And then if you punch it out wrong, you got to go through and like redo it, right?
Yep.
Now you're getting before my time. My big sister had that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to I don't know, be in there learning it old school like that. I just think that's super cool.
Abby needs a fax machine hooked to your Pip-Boy or something, I think.
For real.
Oh, goodness.
So the one I really love how everybody's game is becoming intertwined. You get
100%.
playing, interacting with each other and doing these quests together, and it just brings a whole new flavor to this whole thing.
Yeah, I can only assume later on in Phil's feedback we'll hear something about the same scene from another angle that Eddie just described.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eddie's like, Penelope came in and made me redo the quest again. And then she showed up again and I had to show her where the computers were. Thank you, Eddie.
Done it mostly on her own so far, but I'm going to be needing help soon.
Yes.
Oh goodness, I'm excited about getting up into these next few quests because this is as far as I've gotten with my beta character. Is right now the Fort Defiance quest.
Nice.
So these next two quests that we're doing next week, I will now be getting into stuff I've never done.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Let's see, what else do I got? Eddie, you mentioned he had a really nice line. I forget the exact phrase he used, but when he showed up in the mire, it's like use twice as much ammo because they're 4 times as something or other. That was really awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
That was really cool.
Right.
And he also made a comment about why the fuck do they need to spread out all the heating coils everywhere?
Agreed.
But seriously, was that a security measure? Why would they do that?
Yeah, they didn't really mention it.
It's just those were the extras, but somehow Abby knew where those happened to be.
They wanted somebody that was going to go the extra mile. They didn't want somebody that was just going to be lazy and just throw the heating coils in. They wanted somebody that was going to do it and do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Did Abby know where the heating coils were, or just the game points you?
She told us
she tells you.
Raleigh's bunker and Ella. Is that the other
Ella's?
person?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she does.
Yeah. And then you can go get Raleigh's that little piece of armor. If you reload, you can get a couple different times if you don't complete the quest. All right. Thank you for the great feedback, Eddie. Looking forward to the continued adventures. Let's move on to some guy named Clint.
Never heard of him.
Clint from Michigan?
Yeah, from Michigan. Go Wolverines, right, Clint? Is there anything you'd like to mention before we get into your feedback? Maybe give us just a couple of sentences about your character's background, if you have a backstory, or specials and that sort of stuff, if you're more of a stats guy.
Yeah. Well, her specials when it came out on the selection process, with that spreadsheet you got, everything was almost equal right across the board. So that made it sort of fairly easy.
Yeah.
But her name was Gardner, and I already had 2 characters, one male, one female, from the beta days. So they became her parents, of course, and so she's come out from there. The other 2 are still around, still playing them. But Gardner's was hoping to set up a farm in the forest somewhere and just live a happy life. But it turns out it's not going to happen that way, of course, because she's got to follow the main quest and deal with these scorch beasts
and nuke something.
Yeah, that's in the end, apparently. Yeah. So once she gets all that done, she's hoping to retire back to a little farm. She has her camp is down by the Ohio River in the southwest corner there. It's nice and quiet, and if you put a camp on that river, you only get attacked from one direction, which is good. You need less turrets that way, and they're usually only low level anyway. So 2 seconds of turret shooting and they're gone. But
I was going to ask, what are your common foes? What are your common attack your camp down there?
Mostly just the little blue robots. The
Liberators.
Yeah. It's not far from that cemetery. Was it Kanawha County Cemetery? So they baddies come out of there occasionally, I think.
That is not an area I'm hugely familiar with. There's that whole amusement park down that away.
A bit further down, yeah.
Yeah, I've done what I call the ash pile. I've done the ash heap sparingly, but that more of the eastern half of that, like that far sort of southwestern corner of the map along the river and north of there up to like the farms, if you know what I mean, Silva, and there's something right below it with a razor grain.
Yep.
There's like that whole like quadrant of the map I'm not really familiar with terribly.
Yeah, it's
I need
a pretty
to do more
quiet
exploring
area. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fairly quiet area. There's, it's good for newbies because the baddies in there aren't too high level. And there's, a couple of places you can, like Billings Homestead and the Sunshine Meadows Industrial Farm, you can take over and get some stuff that way. But it's a long, slow process at building yourself up when you're only dealing with low-level opponents.
That's true. It's a slow slog for XP earning if you're only fighting level 1s all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Clint. Well, let's go ahead and roll into your feedback.
G'day all, Clint from Brisbane. I'll try to send the correct file this week to save Ray's voice box. So at the end of the previous episode, Gardner was left with a broken scorched detector uplink and not much help from Rose, who said she needed to take it to someone called Abby in the Free State's bunker. Looking at the map, the bunker was way up in the northeast of Appalachia in an area called the Mire. Sounds ominous. Gardner decided the best way was to travel up the railway line to Sunnytop Station, where she'd been before, then across country and try and pick up the interstate without running into too much trouble. Of course, it wasn't quite that easy. She got into a fight with some super mutants in an out-of-the-way farmhouse and also had to climb down a lot of cliff faces. From one ledge, she saw a scorch beast flapping away below near a fissure, so she continued north, hoping to go around. Eventually, she made it down to the mire and the interstate. It seemed the highway was crowded with all manner of beasts, so it was best to travel in the undergrowth alongside, but she still needed to keep her eyes open. Eventually making it to the bunker, Gardner quickly solved the entry screen puzzle and went inside, where she was greeted by the voice of the long-dead Abigail Singh. Also greeting her were several glowing rad roaches that needed to be dispensed with. Following Abby's instructions, she repaired the uplink and then found she needed to go to another bunker, Rallies, to find some fan motors, then some heating coils, which were scattered throughout the countryside for some reason. More travel through the mire to get these, which included a protracted fight with some super mutants at a relay tower, and Gardner found herself back in Abby's bunker once again. After taking care of those pesky red roaches again, she made the 5 upgraded motors. Then Abby told her that she needed to deliver a holotape to Rose, which would convince her to set up the uplink on the antenna at the top of the world. But first, she was to upgrade 5 scorched detectors, which were located at various points along I-65. That took some time and included several adventures, including quite some time spent under a bridge waiting for a scorched beast to give up and go away. It did, but not before sending in 3 scorched bloatflies, which had to be dealt with. That done, it was head on up to the top of the world and give the holotape to Rose, who was surprisingly happy to install the uplink. Top of the world is also a good place to pick up a few grenades and plastic items. Then back at Abby's bunker, it was take care of the rad roaches and listen to Abby's next instruction, which was to take a master tape to Rally's armory and insert it into a terminal. There was a vague warning about being careful, but my goodness, there were some obstacles to overcome. Taking on standing turrets was a first for Gardner, and after a few tries, she found the best way was to put on her T-45, equip a heavy sledgehammer, and then run up and wail on the things, not giving them a chance to reset. Hard work. Well, that done, she finally got to load the master holotape into the right terminal. Of course, that wasn't the last thing to do. Next was go all the way to Charleston and use the holotape in Sam's terminal. As we know, Charleston's capital is a hive for scorched sometimes, and this day was no different. Gardner has become a crack shot with a hunting rifle, and at one stage she stood at the top of a stairwell and picked off 19 scorched as they came up. Well, at least meeting them all in the one place was handy, but it reminded me of yesterday's experience with Ray and that horde of mole rats. Anyway, with most of the scorched out of the way, Gardner then had to run around a few terminals to override security, but eventually managed to load the tape into Sam's terminal. Another message from Abby, and the next task was to find a relay tower. There was one nearby that thankfully wasn't too well defended. Last thing was to reboot the system back at Abby's. 61 caps to get there. Ugh, might have been cheaper to use Uber. And of course, she was greeted by those damned rad roaches again. But she rebooted as required to find out that she was the most amazing person in all of Appalachia. That was nice. Okay, so this week's addendum, I just wanted to mention about last week's podcast where you talked about a random event location. There's one of them in the forest as well, on the road between Ohio River Adventures and Lewis and Sons Farm. I've come across crashed satellites there a couple of times, but it's usually something different. Yesterday, Gardner approached the site and saw a tent, a dead body, and a super mutant standing still. They lined up in the sights. It was level 5. No problems. They usually go down with one shot. She took the shot and found he had been standing directly in line with 5 more super mutants who instantly charged. I love the way this game occasionally manages to scare the shit out of us. Okay, so that's all from me this time. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Great, awesome. Thank you, Clint. That's hilarious. I've definitely had that happen at the one in front of the dam in the northeast corner of the map, sort of. The random encounter site we were talking about last time. I don't even remember what that dam is called, but it's right out in front of there.
Ammunition factory or something.
There's the ammunition factory up that way as well.
Nearby. Yeah. It gets the heart rate up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I had the exact same experience where I was like, oh God, there's a super mutant. So I thought, and I, took out that first one only to find, and then they spread out and they were in a perfect line.
Yep.
Like they charged like 5 of them at you. It was crazy. Yeah. Those random encounter events are great. If anybody else has any locations of those, post them in the group, take screen caps of your location on the map and stuff and post a picture of what you're finding. We'd love to hear stories about that. Remind us again, Clint, really quick, remind us where that spot is.
It's in the forest. There's a place called Ohio River Adventures. And what's the name of the farm again?
Is that like a raft? Is that like a whitewater rafting company sort of thing?
Yeah, there's a couple of boats. There's always a few ghouls sitting there waiting for you to take out, and there's a fair bit of plastic in there, so it's worth visiting.
Oh, nice plastic.
Yeah, and then the Lewis and Sons farming supply. That's always full of low-level scorched as well, but it has a power armor station and a couple of things like that. So it's not bad for picking up a few items that you might need. But in between those two places on the road, you come across a spot there on just a clearing on one side, and occasionally there's nothing there. Sometimes there's just a suitcase, and sometimes there's a crashed satellite. You just never know.
Have you seen the tent and the dead? It looks like a sort of like a Boy Scout type uniform. It's the recruiter for the.
Yep, that happens sometimes. Yeah, and there was something about someone who had a museum, and it was an advertisement for that. And
nice.
All sorts of different things.
I'm hoping to find the coveted skeleton
costume
recipe, the plans. Evidently, every once in a while you'll find a trick or treater there that has the plans. So Eric says.
That's over the other side somewhere, though, isn't it?
What's that? Yeah. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, somewhere on the east of the map.
Yeah. Right. Right on. So Clint, you're doing a family adventure, and I was sort of wondering, do you ever play Skyrim? Have you ever listened to the Skyrim podcasts?
No.
There's he did it a little bit with Fallout too, but there's a podcast host over there named Victor who creates these complex family webs of characters where it's like the father and grandfather and child and brothers and sisters and nephews and aunts, and there's like just all sorts of characters that he creates around family trees and stuff. So I thought that was really cool that you had like two characters and then they had a kid and then this is the offspring and using that. So I thought that was really fun. I like that sort of a notion. I'm never creative enough and come up with like backstories and all that though. So that's really cool that you guys can do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's good fun. We're not real sure if Gardner's the offspring. We know who her mother is, Cecilia, but neither of the parents are redhead and Gardner is, so there's a little bit of a worry there.
Ooh. Okay, so Ray, you got to chime in here. What was the mole rats thing?
So we were running around the building where the physical test is, and Clinton and I are just kind of bouncing around hitting the different levels, and all of a sudden this probably at least 10 mole rats just come busting out all at one time at our feet. And
we weren't on the ground either.
No, we were on a broken off floor of the building.
What?
And so we're just whacking away at these mole rats, and then was it Phil that? Yeah, it was Phil. So Phil was in the same building, but he wasn't in the same area. So he came to the same area that we were at, and all of a sudden a dozen more pop out.
Oh my gosh!
What?
And so it was just, I think, Clint, what did you end up with? 16 mole rat meat?
Yep.
Oh my gosh!
Right. Yeah. 5 pound each every time you eat one. Well, after it dies, yeah.
They give a nice, I think, strength when you cook them.
Yeah, it's one strength, and then you get 5 pounds extra carry weight from that.
That's great. Good stuff. Also, you said I-65, and I'm curious. Does the game refer to that road as I-65?
There's signs on it.
Does it say?
I don't know about I'm not really up to date with what.
Because I've seen many people and heard many people in our group refer to that road as I-65, when in reality, and this is very nitpicky and super bitchy of me, I apologize, everyone.
Oh, great. I'm just kidding.
In reality, that is Route 65. I-65 would stand for Interstate 65, which connects the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico and goes through downtown Indianapolis, which I use every morning to go to work.
Personal brief.
Well, and in reality, it's the 65.
Thank you.
Only if you're like some pretentious weirdo from California who has to put the word "the" in front of, and you guys call it the freeway or something, don't you? Don't you guys say interstate?
Yeah.
It's the National Interstate Highway System. It's not the National Freeway System. Come on.
In California, it's the freeway.
It's just like everything is so fucking expensive here. We have to make note that it's free. It's the freeway, guys. It's not a toll road. Finally, it's free. We can use it. So everyone on Earth gets to drive 3 miles per hour and takes 6 hours to go 2 miles.
But you feel good about it because you're on the 101.
Because you can say the.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're objects. They have to be. Yeah, it's not just a road.
Yeah, it's not. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have our food podcast. We now need our cartography map and road podcast for the Fallout feed too here.
It's a 4-lane highway, that one.
Yeah. What do you? Okay, so down where you're at, Clint, do you have interstates? So I'm assuming you have do you call them I whatever
You mean Michigan?
in Michigan,
In
where
Michigan.
you're from, Clint?
No, we don't have interstates as such. We have Highway 1, which goes right around the country,
Okay.
and big circle, 15,000 kilometres.
Whoa.
And it's in various states of repair depending where you are. Between Brisbane and the Gold Coast, it's 8 lanes, but across the Nullarbor, it's only 2. But it's all just called Highway 1, not. And some of that is freeway. Freeway has a definite meaning in that there's limited places you can get off, and you can't stop, and all that kind of thing. And no push bikes or tractors allowed.
I think it's the same here in the States, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to take a tractor on the interstate.
Well,
Yeah,
I bet
45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If they can go 45, they can go.
So, Clint, if you're giving somebody directions and they need to take this highway or freeway, how would you tell them to take it?
We rarely use the number. I've noticed that because I spent a bit of time in America, and I noticed everyone talking highway numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We use
absolutely.
names. It's the Pacific Highway down the east coast, which is technically Highway 1.
Okay.
But when it gets to Sydney, it changes to the Prince's Highway, and it's still Highway 1. When it gets to Adelaide, it changes to the Air Highway, and it's still Highway 1. So yeah, they all have names, and we generally use the names. The one from Brisbane North is called Bruce.
Bruce? Just Bruce. Yep. Just get Bruce. On Bruce and...
Yep. Or the Bruce, generally.
Get on C.
See, they're super pretentious in Australia, too, you guys.
Good job, Australia. I knew I liked you. Australia's the best.
I like to think so.
Yeah. I want bucket list. Australia is on my bucket list. Every travel show I watch where they go to Australia, it just looks amazing. And I hear that bunnies run rampant.
They do in the south.
Australia.
There's no bunnies in Queensland.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I will go to the south where the bunnies are. Yeah. As long as nothing tries to kill me, which I hear happens a lot.
Everything tries to kill you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say go where the poisonous snakes and giant spiders and crocodiles are. Sarah, good luck.
Ugh.
Take a walk.
I'm on board. I'm on board. Hey, there's lots of opals there.
Speaking of naming the roads instead of using the numbers, if you want to do that, I could also, on my way to work, take the Kenneth Babyface Edmonds Highway.
Okay.
Do you know?
So
do you know who,
I think Bruce is a lot easier.
you know who Babyface, the R&B singer from the '90s, was? Anybody? It was from Indianapolis. Has a highway named after him.
Oh, really? I totally thought it sounded like either a baseball player or like a mobster. That was my guess.
Maybe, yeah, it could be a mobster, right? Actually, it might not be named that anymore. They might have renamed it to the USS Indianapolis. The US Indianapolis, which was the they refer to that in the movie Jaws. You know, the scene where he talks about delivering the bomb and getting hit by 2 torpedoes and going down in the water and beating off the sharks and all that. That was the Indianapolis who delivered the bombs, and that was I think that's what it's named now. But I think it used to be named the Babyface Highway. Craig will probably be able to correct me on that. He's lived in Indianapolis a lot longer than I have. He'll know what's going on with that. Right on. So gosh, I always get way
sidelined. Sorry,
it's so sidelined. Terrible.
So the wrong road somewhere.
Yeah. So 19 Scorched as well. I know exactly what you're talking about, Clint. I actually figured out a way to bottleneck those guys through a doorway, so they would just come through one at a time. And it was just like slapping them down because I would just like one shot them as they approached. It was really fun. After I died the first couple times, I figured out how to bottleneck them.
Yeah, and with a halfway decent hunting rifle, that you can hit them in one shot and take them out.
Yeah,
in that spot. Yeah.
All right. So thank you for your feedback there, Clint. And let's go ahead and check in with Will.
Rose had given me a headache. If I never saw her or heard her crappy radio station again, that'd be just fine with me. I needed to unwind. Normally, I'd go visit Bubbles, whom I think got her name because of her bubbly personality and not because of her position as a Nuka drink server, as one might think. Bubbles is the only person or robot that's allowed to call me Hazel. But this time, I wanted something a little stiffer and to vent, and there's no better listener in all of White Springs than Tannen. So I put on my tux and went to the resort. I know things are different now after the war, but how are we supposed to rebuild civilization if people aren't going to be civilized? There were people running around all over inside, still in their power armor. There's no scorched beast in here, people. Can we check the power armor at the door? I even saw one person in a bathrobe and slippers. White Springs has a reputation to uphold, and I'm surprised the staff even let them in. Don't get me wrong, I'm a down-to-earth guy. Most days I'm just wearing my green shirt and combat boots. But especially now, I feel some traditions and standards should be preserved. Fortunately, all these people were interested in the shopping downstairs. I was headed upstairs where it was much more quiet. Tannen was really pushing the drinks hard. Take it easy. I said I wished I could block that whole experience out of my memory. Not that I wanted to black out completely. But what I think he was really saying was that the uplink wasn't going to just fix itself. I could sit around there and waste even more time complaining about how much time Rose had wasted, or I could get to it. And of course, he was right. Thanks, buddy. You're the best. The hike up to Route 66, where Abby's bunker was located, was going to be a long one. So after stopping in with Bubbles for some Nuka grape, I packed up a bunch of soups, my newly upgraded laser rifle, a combat rifle, and my switchblade, which was quickly becoming my favorite weapon. Then started out, still in my tux. I don't get to wear it much, and besides, who said you can't look good while saving the world? I had thought by bringing every last fusion cell I had, I would have more than enough ammo for my laser rifle to last the entire trip. But not even 2/3 of the way there, I had run out defending myself from all the creatures along the way. Out of laser rounds, I ran across a group of ghouls. Not fearing the small amount of radiation they give off, I took them out with my switchblade to save 45 rounds. As I was walking away, I meant to jump onto a small boulder, but I jumped over it. Way, way over it. I must have taken more rads from those ghouls than I realized, and it mutated my leg muscles. Hardly any time after that, I got too close to some toxic barrels at the Red Rocket Mega Stop, and suddenly the super mutants there were receiving random radiation blasts from me during close attacks. I definitely needed to be more careful. I was super lucky these were pretty awesome mutations, and not something like antlers growing from my head. Just joking, Phil. Love it, actually. Almost to Abby's bunker, I stumbled upon a small hunter shack. A girl named Shelby had taken an interest in storytime critters or cryptids, giving descriptions and putting names to some of the scarier monsters I've run across, and a few more I hope I never do. Her last entry stated her excitement over locating one so she could run out to go see it. Rest in peace, Shelby. But the terminal also showed the current location of a Wendigo very close to my destination. A time to avenge Shelby. For some reason, I thought it would be just hilarious if I killed it in a clown costume I had found. But the joke was on me. The only thing in more shreds than the clown suit after running for my life to the bunker was my ego. I felt, as Shelby's dad would say, dumber than a coal bucket. Well, at least my tux was still pristine. Time to put the embarrassing incident behind me, but I'd be back. The terminal out front of Abby said, "Please enter if you feel capable of saving the human race." Well, yeah, that's why I'm here. Never mind that I just got my ass kicked by a Wendigo. An automated message from Abby played as I entered saying that she was probably dead, but that work had begun on a device to track Scorched and gave instructions on what I needed to do to finish the project. In the back of her bunker, I found some desperately needed adhesives to repair my broken equipment, but it turned out if I use it for my weapons and armor, I wouldn't be able to fix the uplink. Damn. Oh well. Uplink repaired, and Abby's voice again filled the room saying the detectors were down, likely damaged by the Harshmeyer ecosystem, and to head to Raleigh Clay's bunker for replacement motors and heating coils to upgrade the Scorch detectors. And then I was going to have to give a holotape to Rose at the top of the world asking for her help. Are you kidding me, Rose? This day was going so wrong. Down the road to Raleigh's, I saw a Mirelurk queen. Jesus, those things are scary. I took a couple of shots at it, but quickly realized I was in way over my head and got the hell out of there. Next, I ran across a hermit crab the size of a bus. I had heard once that hermit crabs make nice pets, but I decided not to chance it. And as if those weren't enough, I ran into another death claw. This one didn't want to be friends either. Is that even a thing? And well, of course, then a scorched beast attacked. So I darted to a nearby bunker. This one belonged to Ella Ames. There are quite a number of IOUs all over the place, from everything from beer to toilet paper. Ella seemed quite perturbed by this, but in the utility room was a heating coil. I knew I needed one, so I left her an IOU. Should be fine, right? At Raleigh Clay's bunker, I found the replacement motors and some more heating coils. After upgrading the motors back at Abby's, I had to make the trek down Route 65 to install them on all the detectors. There were no shortage of things trying to kill me. The mire is indeed a very dangerous place. Near one of the detectors was a group of those commie waste baskets like I had seen when I first exited the vault, but a couple of knuckle sandwiches wasn't going to cut it this time. These were much tougher. I wish I had kept that commie whacker I found at Camden Fairgrounds. I was eventually able to take care of them, but wow, was I in need of repairs. All my armor and most of my weapons were useless. Still had my combat rifle, though. Please, baby girl, just hang in there, because I am done if you go too. Around this time, that one song came on my Pip-Boy that starts out, Almost Heaven, West Virginia. You know what almost heaven is? Not heaven, as in hell. West Virginia is hell, especially the mire. The mire is hell. No, West Virginia is hell, and the mire is hell hopped up on Psycho Buff. Yeah, that sounds right. By another detector, I was forced to kill some cultists. Searching their bodies for supplies were some notes. The boy had asked a girl to go pray with him at the Mothman, but the girl had to ask her father first. So these two were just kids. I had just killed 2 kids. No matter that they had tried to kill me first, I was sick to my stomach. I wondered what Tannen would have to say when I told him. Rest of the upgrades made, it was time for the truly depressing part of the mission, talk to Rose. Fortunately, Abby's holotape did all the talking, and my time there was brief. Last time I was there, I had left the jukebox on a classical station to send a message what I thought of a radio broadcast. I noticed it was off this time, so I turned it back on my way out. Come on, Rose, take a hint. Back to Abby's, where she had left another recording. Damn, that girl was thorough. A lot of time on her hands. Gave me perspective, though, on what it might be like to be cooped up in a small bunker for so long. Gave me a new appreciation for the vault as well. The recording said to bring a master holotape to the armory at Harper's Ferry, but to be careful as it was heavily defended by an automated system of turrets and flamethrowers. Instead of messing with the terminal at the armory, I jumped the fence with my new bionic jumping powers. Wait till Mark sees this. Right there in the bed of a rusted pickup was a Deathclaw gauntlet. Oh man, did I need this. Before heading in the building, I shot the first turret I had glimpsed through a hole in the wall from outside. Then took out the second with a grenade and destroyed the next 4 with my new gauntlet. Yep, definitely useful. I loaded the master tape into Raleigh's terminal, but apparently I needed Senator Sam Blackwell's access codes, which were in Charleston. I had been there before, so I knew where to go. Having repaired my switchblade at the armory, I used it exclusively as I killed the Scorched in the Capitol building. I stopped to take a brief look at Rose's formerly corporeal form, Rosalind Jeffries, impaled on some rebar in her jail cell. I didn't like Rose, but I wouldn't wish that on... No, that's a lie. 7 responders died in that one raid alone. She and David died too well, if you ask me. While accessing Senator Blackwell's terminal, I heard a familiar voice echoing throughout the building. Hazel, where are you, Hazel? I half expected him to start clinking bottles together, like in that old-timey movie, The Warriors, from 100 years ago. Of course, it was Mark with a W. He and I were going to have a talk. First of all, it's Hayes, not Hazel. Second, his cacophonous entrance was drawing a whole new batch of Scorched into the building. I looked up from the terminal, access codes obtained, and there he was standing above me. I was about to tell him something, but the truth was that I had spent a long, hard time on the road by myself, and I was actually really happy to see him. We cleared out the newly arrived Scorch, and he accompanied back to the relay tower where I uploaded the codes and reset it. Then we went back to Abby's where I rebooted the Scorch detection system. And hooray, it was up and running. Feeling better, I looked over at Mark and asked, "Do you want to help me go kill a Wendigo? I know one that has some payback coming." With his help, retribution was given for Shelby, my ego, and the clown suit. I was definitely feeling better. I wonder what Bubbles is up to. Okay, that's it. Apologize for going long. A little update on Hazel. At the end of that, he's level 29. The assigned perks, he's been able to achieve are blocking, natural resistance, which is at rank 2, science, which is at rank 2, and quack surgeon. Some of those, like natural resistance, aren't ones that I would have normally picked. So the way I've been doing that is I select them as soon as they're available, and then I rank them up just every other time I'm scheduled to put a point into that perk. His camp location is the forest, which I'm still at, just right outside Vault 76. His factions responders. Workshops Billing Homestead, which I haven't done yet. And his mutation is electrically charged, which he does not have yet. But I wanted to give a little note on how I'm handling the mutations, since really you could just take them all. But I'm having him obtain them naturally and then try to keep every mutation he acquires up until he gets his assigned mutation. And then at that point, stop acquiring them. So say he had received electrically charged as his first mutation, that would have been the only one he had for the entire season. But right now, he has Marsupial, Unstable Isotope, and Chameleon. And since he's not high enough level to have the Starch Genes card yet, I take Nuka Grape, which removes 400 rads, which can be doubled or tripled with the Colonut perk. And that's the only way I know to remove rads without curing the mutations if you don't have Starch Genes. And this method has kind of changed the game for me a little bit too. Bubbles is the only vendor I know that sells Nuka Grape, and she always only has one of them. So it's pretty hard to come by, and it's made me way more terrified of taking radiation than I was before. But it gave me like this one little fun cat and mouse game I had with this legendary ghoul at a Red Rocket. He was hiding below this cliff, and I would run down to go shoot him, and as soon as I did, he'd charge at me, and because I was scared of taking the rads, I'd go run back to jump on top of this truck that he couldn't get to me at. But as soon as I did that, he would just run back and hide up under the cliff again. It took me forever to beat him, but it ended up being pretty fun. So I think that's it for this week. I apologize for being so long, but I will see you all in the wasteland, literally.
I think maybe he mentioned that before. I vaguely remember this Nuka Grape conversation. So that's the only way that's the only way to get rid of rads.
Yeah, we did.
Without getting rid of mutations.
Mhm.
He did a post on it, didn't he?
Without,
I think so.
yes, without Starch Genes number 2 perk.
Mhm.
And he said it's only one bottle from Bubbles at the White Springs resort. That's insane. What do you think? Distillery? Was there a soda section too?
Nope, nothing mentioned. Not mentioned at all.
Huh. Because they already have that fucking, that whole mechanic already exists in Fallout 4 from Nuka World DLC. They have all of that mixing, that machine that already exists. Just plop that shit in right with your distillery stuff, right? Come on.
The new distillery one's all alcohol, isn't it? So.
Yeah. But what if, I'm role playing a Mormon or something? We like fancy drinks too. We don't like being discriminated against just because we don't drink alcohol. We like fancy drinks. Give me that.
I know where you can get a lot of purified water.
Oh, Ray.
Oh, please. Yeah, you want some water?
He's like,
my new character's already up to 150.
What? Can you at least sell it? Can it be currency?
I've traded a few things for it.
but I mean at a train station or something.
Oh,
It-
to be fair, we give Ray what he wants, and then he forces us to take water.
You're like, no, please, Ray, I've had
No,
enough.
It's kind of like a friend with a zucchini plant in their garden.
that is
Here.
100%.
You leave your window rolled down in the afternoon, and you can have zucchini in your car.
No. I'm forgetting the name of the day, but someone will know what I'm talking about. If none of you guys do, someone in our community will know what I'm talking about. There's a holiday where you leave a zucchini on someone's doorstep and ding dong ditch.
No, you're making that up.
I think that's called a summer day.
any day at Ray's neighborhood.
Is it
I
a
forget
zucchini
what
in a
the
brown paper bag on fire?
No, it's not. See, it's just silly. It's not mean in any way. You know what I mean? We're not lighting the dog do on fire and
You're
making
just leaving a
out of it.
zucchini on.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Oh my goodness, I've been zucchinied.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
What a great
look out
day.
and you're like, what the F is this?
I think it depends on the kind of zucchini you get, because sometimes people give you those big, huge, massive zucchinis. You don't know what to do with those.
Yeah, those don't taste nearly as good. You got to get them.
I don't know. You got the right size zucchini. If you give me a big, massive one, I'm just going to throw it in the trash because I'm not going to be able to use that much.
I want zucchini flavored Nuka zucchini. Nukini. Give me some
Zucchini.
Nuka-kini. Yeah. Side note, Fallout Feed, regional food podcast.
Mhm.
Zucchini bread is fucking delicious.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
you guys, my mom makes the best zucchini bread on the planet.
It is
It
so.
is so good.
All right, everybody, we'll start a post. Please put your zucchini bread recipes up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is that with or without carrots?
What?
Little shredded carrot.
No.
Hermione.
Oh, yeah.
Ray, that is blasphemy. I don't appreciate you trying to mess up my zucchini bread over here with your dumb carrots. No, I'm just kidding. Carrot bread. I can get down on that.
No, I like lots of those breads.
Oh yeah.
Basically, or carrot cake. You know, basically any spice,
yeah.
like the spice bread, carrot
It's all
banana
good.
bread, all that. You know, delicious.
Can you
There's a
sous
cauliflower
vide?
bread.
Wait, what?
You make bread out of cauliflower.
Is it like the flour is ground dried cauliflower and then powdered or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it's made.
But it's like
Charlene's done it a
it's
couple
like
of times.
cauliflower. It's like okay.
You know what?
Grind it up.
Brisbane is starting to sound a whole heck of a lot like California. I like it
Yeah, it's like
because I tell
Brisbane
you what,
chicken.
cauliflower bread could be a big hit up here. Everyone makes cauliflower pizza crust and cauliflower rice, cauliflower everything.
Yeah, cauliflower risotto.
Yeah. I like
'cause it's
Brisbane.
No carbs. That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
exactly.
carbs.
Yeah. I love cauliflower. I was raised on cauliflower. Delicious stuff. Delicious. Will, thank you for your great feedback. It's always a
Will?
pleasure to listen to. And thanks for
Yeah.
coming on the show. Was that last
Yeah.
week? That was last week.
Yeah. It was great, Will. I always love listening to your stories. You're a great storyteller, and I always laugh my butt off. So thank you.
Super fun. Thank you, Will.
Did a really good job. Yeah.
Now, let's go ahead and check in with Sarah. I hear she might need a boat down in Kentucky. She's getting a little flooded out. Stay high and dry, Sarah.
Sarah Saylor here for character feedback for Bradley. I've been sick for what seems like forever. I made the joke that after playing Fallout, I had came up against a snallygaster, and I ended up with a case of real life snot ear, and it's had me down for a few weeks, but I still wanted to send in some feedback, so here we go. October 23rd, 2102. Dear Jack, I think I'm dying, or at least I'm pretty sure this is what dying should feel like. I know what you're thinking. Anytime I come down with any kind of sickness, I become super dramatic. I've had my share of ear infections, but none of them compares to what I've come to know as Snottier. I contracted it while I was doing the fire breathers obstacle course in Charleston from a snallygaster. Remind me to let old Miss Baker from down the road, if she's still alive, that I apologize for saying she was crazy when she said they weren't real. She was right. I was wrong. And they are downright nasty. So instead of heading to the top of the world, I'm instead lying in bed sipping blood leaf. But don't worry too much. I'm in good hands. My friend Penny has checked in on me. She was the first friend that I had made in the vault, and I'm not sure if it was because we were close in age or because she's a little weird. I know what you're thinking. It's the pot calling the kettle black, but her weirdness is different from mine. Her family had moved here from California because of the Vault 76 program. I'm not sure that she believed in the weird stuff I do, but she went along with it. And now that she's seen some of them, well, she believes in it. While it's in the vault, she put avocados in all of her food. And I never understood the appeal. Since leaving the vault, she's not had much luck finding any of them, and I think she's kind of sad for it. Maybe someday she'll come across a beautiful field that has whatever that grows avocados on it, unmutated and ready to eat. I don't know. She's always good to have in your corner and has an insatiable appetite for going to kill things. Her words, not mine. I think it helps with the insanity of this sterile vault environment that we grew up in. Then there's Loner. She's one of the most caring people I've ever met. I didn't know her in the vault, like her name suggests. She likes her solitude, and after the first weeks of being out of the vault, she moved her camp away from ours, but is still always there when you need her. Often, she often works as a goodwill ambassador for us. And however, you have to be aware of her friend Walter, who likes to blow things up. I'm also not sure why she does that whole French accent. You're American. Speak America. I'm not sure where to begin with Sammy, please. In the vault, Penny and I had been tasked with our first job once we reached the age of 10 and received our Pip Boy with working in the nursery after school. Sammy's birth had been a scandal. And if it hadn't been for the cook, I think he would have lived in the nursery. He showed up one day with no parents and no explanation. And I think that the deleted deleted recordings on the overseer's terminal had been about him and her part in what happened to his family. Sometimes I wonder if it was mine and Penny's influence on him that affected him, or if it was what the overseer did to them that made him, or did to him that made him stranger. I'm also confused about Sammy's preoccupation with bionic giblets. But I think the time he spends with Cecilia might help him figure things out. Just know that I've been surrounded by people, or that my being surrounded by people doesn't change my feelings about you. I hope to find you soon, Jack, with love from Bradley. October 28th, 2102. Dear Jack, I've recovered nicely from Snottier. Sammy Hopewell, not to be confused with Sammy Please. And just a personal note here, This is why I always refuse to go by my first name of Amanda, because there are too many of us out there. This Sammy is a girl and was able to make medicine out of ingredients she had found. Still, I didn't fill up to the task of conquering the top of the world yet. While I had been sick, I went through the back catalog of holotapes I had found while adventuring. There was one labeled Overseer's Personal Journal. I found it while in Flatwoods at the Vault Tech Ag Center. It talked about her childhood. Something I forget is that she was a person too. To me, she was Vault Tech, and I blamed her for things not really her fault. Like being stuck inside of the vault. Deep down, I know it was for safety. Also, with the turmoil Sammy has been going through since being reunited with his father, I had hoped that maybe those tapes of his mother might bring him some sort of inner peace. So I set off to find the rest of the tapes. It was like a tour of her life, where she grew up, the path that led her to being a vault overseer. It was at Vault Tech University that things came to light that I never expected. From the time my father and I entered the vault, I thought there was something off about it. I never spoke these fears out loud, not even to my friends. But I am now. I knew Vault Tech was evil. I mean, Vault 76 was meant to house people to rebuild America. Yet, while we were in the vault, we weren't preparing or training with the skills we needed to be a success. I never touched a gun until I stepped foot out of the vault. Vault Tech had to have known something about the conditions of what the world would be when we came out of it. According to her holotape, she knew that the vaults were supposed to be scientific experiments. She said Vault 76 was a control vault, and when she learned the truth of it, she was offered to be its overseer instead of at Vault 101 in Washington, D.C. They bought her silence, and it cost her the love of her life, a man named Evan. And because he was a coal miner, he wasn't deemed important to the project, and she left him behind. I don't understand her reasoning. I was 9 when this started, and my father had to drag me kicking and screaming because I didn't want to leave you, my best friend. They said Vault 76 wasn't an experiment, but at the same time, I kind of think it was. She organized soccer World Cups and competitions to feed our egos. They encouraged procreation because Vault Tech needed more people bred from the best bloodlines in America. Even now that we've left the vault, to the task to rebuild America is a huge social experiment. I hate it, and I hate them for doing this to us. I wanted so badly to give Sammy Please some hope. Her next holotape had me travel to Welch, where she and Evan once lived, and she talked about how Vault 76 was for the best and the brightest, and that to take the placement she couldn't be married, basically because Evan wasn't good enough. Did she honestly think he'd be here waiting for her after all this time? When I followed her into the mine where Evan was, I did something that I'm not proud of. He was scorched, and well, she couldn't. When I did my fire breather training, one of the things that I learned was that when someone who was infected, you put them down. I know that doing that training doesn't make me a responder, I'm in that moment, I did what a responder does. Is this what I'll find if I ever find you? Or will you be a corpse with a holotape like the ones in Flatwoods?
Yes.
With love from Bradley. All right, so that's my feedback. A little different because I didn't, like I said, I'm not caught up on the quests or anything, but I'm trying to get there, y'all. I'm trying to get there. I had also told Sarah that since she's not good at coming up with backstory for her characters, that I had created her one, so I hope she enjoyed it. And I will literally see you all in the wasteland. Bye.
Thank you so much for the feedback there, Sarah.
It was perfect. I laughed my butt off. It was perfect. It was perfect. And my character definitely likes to kill big stuff. Every night we get on, they're like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Let's go kill. Let's go."
What's your kill big stuff mean? What do you like to go kill big stuff?
Whatever we can find. Yeah, Scorch Beast, Nuke Zone.
You guys gone out and found that this is super mutant behemoth?
Okay, Clint, I think you were there, right?
You all had a party
Yeah.
there and met him. Alex took me over there the other day with Keith. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good times.
Yeah, that's over in the east somewhere too, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's an unmarked pond over there somewhere. Alex has a post in the Facebook group pointing to where it is. It's not where his quest pointer is, it's where his character marker is. He's fooled a couple of people because he inadvertently also has a quest marker in the same picture.
Oh my gosh.
So people were going to the wrong spot. They're like, I can't find it. That was awesome.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sarah did a wonderful job of very concisely describing our characters. Good job.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
And she also has this weird aversions to avocados. Have you noticed?
I don't know why, because 9 times out of 10 we're on the same page. I feel like she just hasn't had avocado in the right way, or maybe not the right kind of avocado, because there's lots of different kinds. So I'm holding out for her. I think she's going to come to the right side of the avocado coin someday.
Yeah, she just needs to have a good one.
She'll
be converted.
She just needs to find the right avocado.
Smashed. That's how they have it.
Yes. Yeah. A good avocado toast, maybe.
And coffee.
Oh yeah. It's good times. So
delicious. I don't understand. She had a post on her personal Facebook page and everything.
know.
Like avocados. This.
I know.
They're delicious.
We still love her.
Yep.
But she's on thin avocado over there. Gotta watch herself.
I feel like maybe Kentucky just doesn't get like a good California avocado.
I am like literally less than 2 hours from her house. Like we can have perfectly fine avocados in Indiana. They can definitely get them in Kentucky. Come on. I don't know. Maybe they have a different word for them or something down there. You know, those Appalachia, they call stuff different weirdness down there, you know. Different words.
They're avocado pear or something in some place, aren't they?
I have no idea what that is.
What? Really?
Yeah, I've heard them called that. Yeah. Don't know why. But just the shape, I suppose.
Yeah, they're similar. I get that.
Are we going to talk about the argument that's happening in our chat right now?
I don't know. What happens in the chat should stay in the chat, I think.
I just got to say, somebody made Frater real mad. Real mad. But I think he's calmed down. He's talking about Coffee Crisp now, so he'll be all right.
and maple.
And maple. We just get the Canadian to talk about coffee crisp. He'll calm right down. It'll be fine.
Freighter, it's all true patriot love at all our sons' command. So God bless you, Canada.
Oh man, I love Canada.
Speaking of Canada, we've got gosh, I just totally skipped right over Canada here. Let's hear from Canada.
Hey, Fallout friends, Jen here. I'm a little bit behind, but I do have an update about Norman for you. So here we go. Norman had grown tired of running out of bullets and materials, so she had decided to spend some time collecting them from the handy-dandy workshop she found across Appalachia. She loved that she could set up a temporary base there while exploring the different regions. Things were going well until one day she had just cleaned out a warehouse and was decorating it to make it more comfy when two other wastelanders approached. They seemed to be hanging out for an unusually long time, and Norman was feeling pretty lonely, so she was happy for the company. She thought this would be a great opportunity to be a good host and began to set up 3 banjos, one for each of them, so they could have a good old-fashioned hootenanny, just like her family did in the vault. She placed the last banjo and was getting ready to sit down to play the first notes when one of the visitors wearing power armor pulled out a minigun and opened fire on her. With only a few shots, which seemed to explode on impact, she was rendered unconscious. When she regained consciousness, she was really upset and returned to the workshop to collect her stuff. Then she found those jerks happily playing her banjos in a hootenanny of their own. They'd stolen her workshop and kicked her out of her own damn party. Norman had been raised with a strong code of ethics and was terribly saddened about the invasion. She knew she didn't have the fancy power armor they had, nor did she have the guns that they were sporting. So she stood in front of them and glared at them admonishingly for several minutes before she left. While walking back to her camp, she thought about how desperate everyone from the vault must be feeling, and how different people have different strategies to survive. She was pretty bummed about the thought of not only having to fight the environment, but also other vault dwellers too. She resolved to not take this bullying personally, just as she tried to do when the boys teased her about her name. Still shaken, she returned to her camp in Morgantown to rest in relative safety, but found it had been horribly irradiated. Did someone set off a bomb? There was strangely powerful scorched around, and she ran away, fast. While she was running, she leapt over a log and realized she was soaring really, really high. Had the radiation done something to her legs? She bounced and bounced all over the airport and thought to herself, I'm feeling pretty sick, but this is awesome. With the new bounce in her step, she was feeling pretty invigorated and ran north to see a girl named Rose that the overseer mentioned might be able to help. On her way there, she ran into a diseased wolf and got really, really sick. All of her stats were low and her voice sounded terrible, like one of those scorched people. And if she hadn't gotten the vaccine that the overseer taught her about, she thought she might become one of them. Feeling so terrible, she figured she would retreat to the forest for a little rest and relaxation, where she could craft some disease cure and recuperate. This time, she'd set up her camp near a town named Point Pleasant for a little vacation. She heard there was some sort of museum about cryptids and was so interested in learning more about the wise old Mothman that she'd run into outside of Charleston Station. She was really hoping to have a chance to commune with him again. So that's all I've got for now for Norman, and thanks so much for listening. I will do my best to catch up. I am firmly a week behind everyone, or 2 weeks, I guess, behind everyone, but I will do my best to catch up and get another round of feedback into you very, very soon. So thanks very much, everyone, for listening, and I will look forward to seeing you in the wasteland.
We've all just been knocked silly recently. Like about half the community has chimed in by getting their ass kicked by the flu or a nasty cold that won't go away recently. Everyone's been knocked down. It's been terrible.
It's winter.
All that cold weather you're having. Yep.
Yeah. It's summer for you, right?
Not now. 1st of autumn today.
First of all, oh,
It's the nice season.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we've just come down from 40-something days above 30 degrees C. So
It's too hot. No, thank you.
Yeah. Can you, what is that? What is 30 degrees?
It's late
Fahrenheit.
high 80s, early 90s, somewhere around
Okay.
there. Yeah.
No thanks.
I'll take the heat any day.
No thanks.
That's not bad.
The
You don't get snow ever, so that's something.
That is good.
it's snowing here right now. If you want to come have some.
Is it really?
Yes. The right before I came down to the podcast, I happened to look out in the car. I was like, the car is covered. Damn.
Oh, wow.
That means I'm probably gonna have to shovel tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh joy. So thank you, Jen, for the feedback. I'm glad, super glad to hear your voice again. It's been a while, and I always missed hearing from you, and it's so happy that you're going to be catching up and sending us more feedback. You said you're going to set up a hootenanny, and I think that this distillery thing might make your hootenanny just a wee bit more fun.
Heck yeah.
You're going to make some like cranberry moonshine and have somebody playing
Mhm.
a jug. What if they added the jug to the instruments section? Wouldn't that be great? That's totally
yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Washboard? Why aren't they doing spoons, fucking washboards, jugs, like a tub, metal tub with a broomstick like base? You know, those
Oh,
like
yeah.
those fucking harmonica and someone a blade of grass.
Spoons.
You should be able to pick a fucking blade
Yeah.
of grass and play grass harmonica, you know? Come on. They're missing out. They need to be taking notes here. Make a killing with the the Appalachia music pack or something like that. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be super fun.
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Why is there a grand piano but no harmonica? Blasphemy. All right, Jen, again, thank you so much for your feedback. And Sarah, avocados are delicious. We are now at the point of the show where we hear from our correspondent out on the front lines, gathering all the pertinent information and spitting them out for us in a digestible chunk. Here is our good buddy Alex with the Iguana Bits update.
Test, check. Greetings, Fallout Feed. Alex here with a new Inside the Iguana Bits update, giving my biased opinions on Fallout 76 info from the past couple weeks. To be thorough, we'll start with a review of Patch 6 first. Bethesda says they are ramping up server maintenance. You might receive an in-game message alerting you when maintenance occurs, and you'll be asked to join another world. This should improve the gameplay experience, help reduce lag, or whatever. Patch 6 has been active for 2 weeks, and I haven't noticed that at all, so I don't really know what's up with that. Anyway, next. Stash limit went from 600 to 800. I think we have all been enjoying that a lot. They added a quick option to hop servers if the server you load into cannot place your camp, so that'll save you a little time if you really want your camp. Claiming and contesting workshop area is now extended to the entire workshop, not just some tiny little circle. So that's nice. You can move around and get strategic.
That's a good one.
Scorch Beasts now have a 10-second timer between sonic screech volleys.
Also good.
Before this fix, I would often have a Scorch Beast yell at me for 2 minutes straight with no let up. It was not fun. My eyes would glass over while I spam stimpaks and blindly fire my Gatling gun into the sonic booms, hoping for any reprieve. The new change is very noticeable. I have a much better time fighting Scorch Beasts now. You now have to completely destroy a piece of someone's camp to become wanted. This helps prevent a situation where, maybe you were trying to defend someone's camp, you saw some enemies attacking it, and your bullet accidentally hit the front door, making you wanted. Something like that. So that's a good fix. They added a sound effect when you place a custom map marker. It is such a nice sound. It's all like, doof. It's like, doof. It's like, doosh. It's like, I can't do it. It's a really great sound. I don't know how we ever played the game without that sound. What a great little noise. There are a ton of bug fixes, too many to read. My favorite one is addressed an issue that could cause controls to lock up if the player opened the Pip-Boy immediately after encountering a load screen. They forgot to mention that the bug also causes your heart rate to go up and incites an urge to throw your controller at the wall. Anyway, I'm glad they fixed that. That's the gist of the patch notes. Moving on to the 2019 roadmap. Bethesda showed their cards to us last Friday, and they are some damn good-looking cards. They started by thanking everyone who has stuck with them to this point. On behalf of the Fallout feed, you are quite welcome, Bethesda. They throw a quick brag that their server performance is up 300% since launch. I believe that number because my crash rate has gone down that much for sure. Then we get into the juicy content drop dates and details for 2019 first. March 12th, Wild Appalachia begins. It is a weekly series of new quests, features, events, crafting systems, and more. There will be a mythical beast, a lost generation of pioneer scouts, and the strongest brew on this side of the wasteland. We will be working on some kind of backpack with the Pioneer Scouts quest. I assume it will be like a nice item to increase carry weight, this and that. March 12th will specifically bring brewing and distilling systems to our camps. More on that later from today's Inside the Vault. March 19th is the Fastnacht Parade. Creepy clown masked activities with unique rewards. That should be fun. March 26th is Survival Mode. April 9th is player vending. We'll build vending machines at our camps, sort of a set it and forget it system. The vending machines do all the work. You just need to count the caps. Also on April 9th is the start of the Wild Appalachia quest, Sheer Terror. Uncover the encrypted secrets of Appalachia in a new series of quests and encounters to separate monsters from myths. April 16th introduces what they are calling a functional camera. There isn't much information on that, if it's going to be upgrades to photo mode or what, but as an avid wasteland photographer, I am very intrigued and eager to see what that will be all about. May 23rd, there will be a legendary vendor, the mysterious purveyor. It appears to be a mole miner merchant. Heavy breathing intensifies. You'll be able to scrap and exchange unwanted legendary items for new legendary gear. The chances to get something great increase with the star rating on the item. This sounds amazing, but I'm worried it'll be sort of like a lottery gambling RNG nightmare. I guess we'll find out. I'm hoping it'll just be great. They didn't put a date on this, but probably the most exciting announcement, camp decorating using items from your stash is going to be mixed in with these updates. So, get your teddy bears and your Mr. Fuzzies ready to put on display.
Yeah.
Me,
the accordion.
I'll probably decorate my place with like Scorched Beast junk body parts like the wings and whatnot. No, I won't do that. I got to think about what I'm going to do.
Scorched Beast hoagies.
More on that next time.
Set up a sandwich shop.
Summer of 2019 will bring Nuclear Winter, another series of updates with an entirely new way to play that changes the rules of the wasteland. That's all the info on that. Not much else. Next, they mention new Vault raids. Vault 96 and 94 will open for seasoned players to test their skills in high-level group raids. I myself am a seasoned raider from the Destiny games, so I'm hoping I'll be prepared for those. Fallout 76 is super relaxing for me, so a sweaty raid will be a weird change of pace. And the last point for summer is new feature, Legendary Players. An all-new prestige system will allow players above level 50 to become legendary, resetting their characters with all new, more powerful abilities. I'm not sure what this will be like for me because I'm going to be well above level 300 by summertime, so do I get to reset over and over to that level, or am I just the same as everyone else? I guess we'll find out. Moving on to fall of 2019. Wastelanders. Embark on a tale with true choice and consequences in Wastelanders, our biggest and most ambitious update for Fallout 76. Wastelanders will include a new main quest line, new factions, new events, new features, and even more surprises. Well, that sounds big. Maybe sort of like the Far Harbor of Fallout 76 or something like that. Sounds pretty massive, right? Sounds big, sounds huge, right? It's going to be exciting, it's going to be nice. Anyway, so that's the roadmap. Very excited for coming content. While I was putting my notes together for today's Iguana Bits update, Fallout released Inside the Vault for this week. So this Inside the Vault, we received new info on the beginning of Wild Appalachia Brewing and Distilling coming March 12th. We will have quests from Appalachia's tipsiest robot, Biv. Not sure where Bell and DeVoe are. Anyway, Biv's quest will lead us to acquire the ability to brew and distill various liquors at our camps. These drinks will have various new effects that will make gameplay more interesting. I'm particularly interested in Vintage Firecracker Whiskey, a beverage that will cause your melee and ballistic attacks to set enemies on fire. Woo! I'm looking forward to getting completely shit-faced with the Xbox crew. And that's it for today's Inside the Vault. I'll finish up the Iguana Bits update with a reminder that this week is Atomic Sale Week in Fallout 76. Every day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they rotate a few Atomic Shop items on sale for a discounted price. So make sure you check the shop every day to see if you're interested in any of those deals. Sorry, the recording cut off there. I highly recommend saving items for when the new content drops, though. They're going to release all kinds of cool stuff, and I'll be saving my items for when that comes out. So, that concludes the Iguana Bits update. I've been Alex, and I'll see you at Helvetia for the Fashnacht Parade.
All right. Super job, Alex. Thank you for your correspondence.
Alex, I don't know how we lived without that sound. I don't.
Fashnacht.
Fashnacht. That's what I'm talking about in that little place in Helvetica with the beer
And the cheese.
and the cheese and the accordion.
Alex is now claiming it's pronounced Helvetia, everybody. You got it. Evidently, the Vault Boys, who are from West Virginia, that's how they pronounce it. So, I guess it's a real place. Who knew? Because
Most everything is.
Watoga, which is like a real city, evidently is not a real place in West Virginia, right?
It's not?
I heard it that it's not.
Somebody Google it.
It's a real place. Come on. All right, lots of stuff to dig in through all of that. What highlights? What are you guys excited about? What are you upset? Like, what is this new survival mode that he's super excited? What? Now, that's not being foisted upon us, right? That is its own separate thing. I hope, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, so that's what it appears. It looks like they're gonna. The thing that they're not really clear on is if they're gonna take PvP completely out of the regular gameplay, and it'll only be available in survival mode, or if it'll just be a stepped up version, kind of like the Hunter and Hunted. That's currently in the game. You
have to sign up for it. Isn't there a pretty loud, unified voice saying, "Get that PvP shit out of my game"?
Yeah, I'd be happy without it.
I don't know. I feel like all the people that are grieving or whatever us, like, they're all for it.
Put them in their own server, then let them grief each other.
I know. We got griefed the other day. Well, to be fair, he shot me and I started shooting him back because I got pissed off. Like, you don't come up and just start shooting me. I'm going to fight back. I don't care how like high level you are. So anyway, I died, obviously. And Christian picked up my bag because we were in a nuke zone, thankfully. So I didn't get my bag. But then he like waited until we were all together inside of the little like hoity-toity like market area of the White Springs. You know what I'm talking about? Where Aloe is.
The White Spring,
The White Springs. I don't know why that started.
White Springs.
I don't know what happened, but it's now the White Springs. So
I
he
really
waited
so hard.
Sorry. He waited until we were all together and then he came and like got us all at one time. But I, jokes on him, I had just dumped all my crap out so my bag was empty. It was just personal at that point,
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not going to say his name, but I know his name. And if I see him, he's going to get a mouthful from me. I'm going to mom him so hard. He's probably 15.
No, I'm gonna say this kid's like 11 or something, right?
Oh,
it's like some punk kid.
He's gonna get the lecture he never knew he was gonna get about being nice and kind to other people and not being a jerk.
That's so great. Can you please Twitch stream that for us?
Him getting lectured. He's just gonna shoot me. I'm just gonna find him again. I'm gonna start my own kind of grieving, which is where I go around and I lecture people about their bad choices.
Okay, what I'm picturing right now is you giving this kid a lecture and just getting killed and coming back and over and over again. Did you see the new Avengers movie?
Yes.
There's a scene where Doctor Strange has this battle with this monster who he defeats the monster because he just keeps coming back over and over and over and over and over. So you need
That's
to
me.
do that with this kid. And
That's
just
me.
like lecture him till he
That's
dies.
me. That's me.
Lecture him,
That's me.
Mom him to death, please.
I will mom him until he doesn't want to play anymore.
That's all we want is just to ruin his good time.
That's it. You ruin mine. I'm gonna ruin yours the best way I know how, by annoying you.
That's all we want.
I've done the whole get off on my lawn thing.
Get off my lawn. Just start hosing people down. We should have that option for our camps. Just get a big garden hose. And if somebody wants to come up, just start spraying them with the water hose and it starts rusting up their armor or power armor or something.
Yeah,
that should be the defense.
Hey, that could be part of the distillery thing. You could have your own little hydrant, set up a water source, and you could like have different attachments for it, and one of them be like a high-powered water hose, for blasting people right in their stupid faces.
Yeah. Get off my lawn! You have to say that.
Yep.
That's the rule.
So he did leave off the self-immolation part of the firecracker whiskey effect.
The what part?
Yeah.
You set yourself on fire as well as the person that you're attacking, or the creature that you're attacking. So it's not when you melee attack scorched, say, and you're under the effects of firecracker whiskey, you set the scorched on fire, but you also set yourself on fire at the same time.
It's like how they always make you take like a plus and a minus together for some reason. Like the mutations always have a good and a bad. New Vegas, all their traits had like a good and a bad. That kind of thing. You're doing lots of damage to those guys, but oh crap, you're hurting yourself too. Oh, Alex says use that the fireproof perk card. There you go. Fireproof.
There you go.
And get drunk on that. What's it called?
Firecracker whiskey. Yep.
Yeah. Cook it up, baby.
I found it. Watoga exists, but it's not a city.
Yeah, it's a state park.
Watoga State Park.
Unincorporated community in Pocahontas County, West Virginia.
Hey. Okay.
There you go. So it's not the city of the future filled with waves and waves of infinite robots?
Well, not yet.
They're working on it.
There you go. That's actually true. This is like 100 years in the future from now, so it could be.
So, and then the other controversial thing is with the workshops. When you claim a workshop, one of the popular things to do is to wall off that workshop so somebody can't come along and, if you're a level 20 and you've got a workshop, you don't want, some level 300 person coming along and just shooting you to, take it away from you and you can't stop them, because they get all your hard work without having to, do anything but just be able to keep you from taking them out. And so if you put a wall around it, then you can hide inside and, they can do some damage, but not really, take it away from you. Well, now they can sit at the edge of that, that site and take it away from you without you ever being able to find them or, figure out, who's doing it.
Interesting.
So we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Well, it looks like I'm making a big fence.
Gosh, I'd like to see that in practice just to see how that'll actually work.
I did come across one place where it was walled off, but the owner had obviously logged off and left it that way, and could not get in to start.
I wish that those things would clear when the people leave the server. I wonder how long it takes for them to go away. How long does it take for the server to reset or whatever?
Yeah, it's sometimes nice to find it one all set up with lots of turrets and things like
that. And we do handoffs too, where if you've got a site and one of your friends is still going to stay on, you log off, they take it over, and
yeah, we did that yesterday.
Yeah. I think that's fairly easy to do, just because if you're on the same team, then sure, that makes sense to keep the workshop in possession of your teammate if a teammate logs off. But if some random dude uses all the gears building turrets at the Gorge workshop, then I can't build the black titanium extractor. It bugs me a little bit when that person is logged off like forever ago. Why is their shit still there? Get rid of it.
Yeah, well, it was the Gorge junkyard that I came across that day, and it was all walled off. You couldn't get to it.
Yeah, they're protecting the black titanium, the jerks. They're hoarding it like Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
can't come back to
hey,
it.
You're a hoarder too, Andrew.
Yeah, of black titanium. Oh, and ultrasite. Now, that's my new thing is going on ultrasite runs. I've been hopping servers and going through the glass cavern.
Okay.
It's been fun. I was doing it for the ballistic fiber, hopping back and forth between the two locations of the I just blanked on it. If I hadn't had to remember it, there's the Clancy Manor. Oh, I remembered it. Great. Up north, near the Aaron Holt farm, there's a Clancy Manor up there, and they have a shelf upstairs that has some ballistic. What's it called? The military duct tape, military tape. What's that stuff called? Whatever. It's got the ballistic fiber in it, and the
military duct tape.
Yeah. Military duct tape. And then I would hop down to Camp McClintock to do that run that Clint was talking about earlier with all the ammo bags and stuff. And then I got all that stuff, and then I get all my ultrasite because I'm getting the Enclave Under Armor outfit together. Have any of you guys gotten the Under Armor stuff? Clint, have you gotten the Under Armor or any of that yet?
No, I haven't. Oh, I think I've seen an Under Armor thing, but I haven't been interested in it yet.
See, with the round table, we're not there to the Enclave yet, but I think all the other factions have Under Armor as well, if I'm not mistaken, right? Don't all the responders have some Under Armor that you can get? And the vault suit counts as Under Armor?
Yeah, the vault suit does, and you can upgrade that.
Yeah, you can upgrade it. What can you upgrade the vault suit to do?
I think it just gives you a little bit more protection against radiation,
Radiation,
or energy weapons, or something like that. Yeah.
Yep, that's good. So it's kind of like a leather, the leather effect.
Yeah, it isn't much. Yeah. And your armor goes on the outside. There's
Right.
the road leathers that you used to be able to wear on
Oh, like that effect.
Fallout 4.
But I believe you can
also goes
still
under.
wear yet another outfit on top of all of it, right? So you can have your Under Armour, your armor on top of that, and then your skeleton costume or whatever on top of that. Right? That's a lot. That's awesome. You look like a hockey player walking around with all those layers.
Well, you don't, because once you get the last layer on, everything disappears.
Yeah, it, like crunches down to original size somehow magically.
Yeah, put on Grognak and you've got almost no clothes on.
Yeah, exactly. That's weird. That makes all your armor disappear. That's hilarious. Clint, did you have any highlights or anything you're excited about with any of the updates coming up here pretty soon? The Wastelanders, whatever that was.
I haven't had a good look at them yet, but I just saw it this morning.
Well, they don't let us know anything like we were talking about earlier.
It's all teasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely give it a try when it all turns up.
They like to dangle carrot bread in front of us.
I imagine my character George, he's a bit of a whiskey drinker, so he'll spend a lot of time at that bar.
Firecracker whiskey. You're gonna set the dude sitting next to you on the stool on fire. Watch out.
Well, he's not interested in doing all this main quest junk. He'll leave that to the kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. Alex, thank you again for your feedback. We're excited for all this new news and presented in such a
energetic manner.
Mirthful and energetic manner. Wonderful.
Alex, it is the best. We do need an original song
So
the next time.
Okay, if our Xbox has our Alex, right, and your PC has your Christian, where's Christian's fucking segment, man?
Somebody convince him to join the Facebook group, man. I'm working on him.
It's
working on.
He's a hard man to tie down.
I don't think he even knows about the podcast. We're the worst.
Good promotion skills there, Sarah.
No, Lee, have you talked to Christian about this?
Lee, yeah, it's your job, right? Part of the PC clan.
Yeah, everyone just needs to start tagging him in our Facebook group. If he's tagged in our group, can we tag people that aren't in our Facebook group? I don't think we can, huh?
I don't know how that would work. We're a private group, so
yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. So it's gonna be a joyous day when Christian joins the YouTube chat, and it'll be an even more joyous day when we're able to get him on this podcast to talk about it. It's going to be great. It's something we can all look forward to.
Sounds good. Come on board there, Christian. AKA PC Alex. Can we call him that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
okay.
we owe him. Right. Okay, Christian. Sorry. Apologies. Mark with a W. Hello, sir.
Hello, everyone. It's Mark with a W. Don't ask because I haven't got time and it's not important. That's not why we're here. Why I'm here is to apologize. I haven't been sending in feedback regularly simply because every single time I set out in Appalachia, something seems to happen to distract me from trying to look for this lovely overseer and to work with Rose, who isn't actually quite as lovely. So these responders, they've sort of taken my heart a little bit with this catchphrase, this motto that they've got for helping each other no matter the cost. Because every time, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same, when I'm playing Skyrim and Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 and any other thing, I always play as a white hat because it just feels nice. But the fact that you can do nice things for people and just say, oh, what's that? You need some screws? You need some nuclear waste? Here you go, mate. No, don't worry about it. I'll just take the crap that you don't need. And people get so excited and so happy with you. It just feels really bloody good. And then you got the other side of the coin where there's just a bunch of dicks that want to make fun out of other people's misery, destroying their camps and killing them over and over again. And I thought that there was a system in place where they would do minimal damage, but I've heard stories of people saying, they haven't engaged back. They've been in pacifist mode and they still end up getting one-shotted. So I've started to take a different approach when it comes to player versus player and hunting down wanted players, where I loved Fallout 3. One of my favorite factions were the regulators from there. So I've taken the responders one little step further and taken it upon myself to become my own regulator in the Fallout 76 wasteland. So I'll see if there's a wanted player. If I'm playing with anyone, I'll say, hey, give them a little nudge. You keen? Should we go and see what's going on? I'll go and I'll drop off all my junk. So if anything goes pear-shaped, I don't lose anything other than, a couple of caps, but that's not really that important to me. And I'll go and I'll chuck my area chat on. I'll say, hey, how's it going, mate? You all right? What's going on? Why you got this 5-cat bounty? Why you got this 10-cat bounty? And there have been a few times where someone's chucked their mic on and say, I don't know what's happened. I'm so nervous. I don't want to get killed. I don't want to lose my junk and blah, 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 blah. So we'll work out a little deal with them. And I'll make sure that, if I take them out, then I'll watch their bag until they come back. We'll have a little wave and then we'll say, see you later. And then everybody's happy, because sometimes it does happen where, for example, me and Rebecca were in Gorge Junkyard. We're having a nice interaction with this fella who was helping us take out some mole rats. And then for some reason he got a bounty. So me and her were saying, oh, what's he doing? We assumed he was just trying to cause trouble. We turned and looked at him and he did the little confused thing. So I thought, oh yeah, he's made a mistake. Something's happened. So I pulled out the dragon. I gave him a little whack. He gave me a thumbs up and then boom, took him down. And he came back and we ended up trading a load of plans, and he took a load of stuff and he gave us a load of stuff. And I got myself an urban scout mask, which I think looks pretty dapper. So I'm just trying to take, a different approach, because sometimes it really is just an accident. And then there's the other times where they're just not nice people. So I'll take them out sometimes from afar, sometimes from up close. I've got all my rifleman perks and I've got my demolitions experts. So most of the time, it doesn't take a lot to take them down. And then before they even get a chance to take revenge on me or anything like that, just log off. And if I don't have to log off, if I don't want to log off because I've got lots of friends playing with me, they're usually twice my level and they look after me anyway. So I don't even have to worry. And even if I've got players that are the same level as me, I'm looking at you, Hazel. You need to stop putting yourself down, mate. And stop saying, oh, I'm worried. Oh, I might shoot. I'm not that good. You're perfectly capable. Because I followed you into that Charleston building and I saw the mess you made of those scorched, and you're perfectly capable of surviving on your own, mate. So, with that being said, if anyone wants to join me in this little regulator thing I've got going on, I saved up for weeks. I finally got the Starlet Sniper outfit and I ended up changing to a lady because I didn't think it quite suited my man. But there's nothing wrong with that either. I think she looks absolutely lovely. I based her off of, if anyone's seen The Edge of Tomorrow, and Sergeant Vrataski or whatever her name is, Emily Blunt, I think she's absolutely just brilliant in that film. So I based her off of that. And yeah, I'm having an absolutely wonderful time. That no game has crushed my faith in humanity and managed to restore my faith in humanity all at the same time as much as this game. And I'm absolutely loving it. So with that being said, I'll let everybody go and we'll just carry on with the night. And fucking Mothman again, come here, you big dusty bastard.
Oh my god, it sounds like fucking Mothman got him something there at the end. Spooky.
I love your approach, Mark. I love it.
All right,
We
go
It's a
in.
great
find
way to
out-
go about it.
Go into it. What? Tell
We
me
found
about
out something yesterday about that accidentally shooting people.
Hmm.
We did it when I arrived with Phil and Ray were working together, and there was some super mutants, and we got stuck into them, and I hit Phil by mistake, and became a baddie, and I had the red mark over me, and then Phil invited me to join the team, and the wanted thing disappeared. I wasn't wanted anymore.
Yeah, Phil was saying that invite them to your team, but I think they have to accept and be on your team in order for it to
Oh, sure, you
work.
have to accept it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if someone does it by mistake and ends up like that way, just invite them to the team. They accept, and
Yeah.
and you don't have to kill them.
Yeah. That's cool. It's very
Wait, say that again.
so
What?
If someone's wanted,
Mhm.
and to get rid of their bounty,
Well, if it's somebody that just hit you,
right.
either just shot you or hit you with a melee weapon, you can turn around and invite them to your team, and that will clear their wanted status for that act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He says it
might be
happens
just
all-
that specific
Mhm.
circumstance. We don't know.
He kind of implied it happens fairly frequently, that mistakes happen, and
Mhm.
being wanted. Then I was
Mhm.
thinking, I don't
Mhm.
think I've ever been wanted. Have you guys been wanted? Has it happened to you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I shoot people by accident all the time.
There's like, yeah, I just fucking shoot people all the time. Just the blam blam.
Hey.
Oh, sorry, Phil. It's my bad.
Love taps. And
Gardner,
it's I
Gardner
also
shot
run.
down.
Yeah.
Gardner shot down one of those Autobot, the government supply things.
Mhm.
Spent about 20 minutes shooting it down. That was good fun. And then there was stuff in it. Took the stuff, became wanted. There was a
Oh.
warning, you're about to steal. I thought, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Then I just emptied everything out of the junk and went for a walk down one of the highways until someone found me and shot me.
Who are you stealing from at that point? Who do those things belong to?
Got no idea.
America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't summoned it or anything like that. It was just floating somewhere, and so I took a few shots at it.
Now
Nice.
there's difference between the cargo bot, which is the little thing that drops the requisition requests, right? And then there's the thing that you shoot down to get the cards for launching nuke codes, right? That's something else.
Yeah, but this wasn't anywhere near there. It's the big square box that the
Yeah,
cargo
it was
bots drop.
the government
that-
supply requisition.
That thing.
Yeah, it was over near Flatwoods. That it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, I don't like that they made those so that they're steal if you didn't request them. Like, why not? Who cares?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Who's sending them out?
I do it occasionally, but I never find it worth the effort unless you just happen to stumble upon one if you're on your way somewhere else. Like, I will never go out of my way to do it unless we're just doing it as a lark with a bunch of groups of people or something like that. But there's never like a 3-star legendary or anything in there. It's just not super. There's some like purified water, but Ray's like, oh please God, no.
Ray, there's only purified water in there because Ray snuck it in there when you weren't looking.
Yeah.
Ray dumping purified water into the thing.
Yeah, before it takes off, I run up the hill, drop a couple of water in.
Hey, you need some water? No, seriously, take some water. I insist. What is the urban scout mask? That sounded interesting.
Yeah, that did sound interesting.
I haven't seen this one. Is that
Wait,
something
I need
you
a
find in
picture of it.
game?
Yeah, I need a picture.
Yeah, I need to go look that up, see what that looks like. All right, Mark, thanks for the good feedback. Anybody have any other thoughts there for Mark? Always good to hear from you, buddy.
Mark, you're awesome. Thank you for being a peacemaker out in the wasteland.
Yes, sir. And seeing things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Being patient with someone. That's very nice.
Oh, it's amazing.
Put someone out of their misery, take their bounty away and give them their junk back. That's very nice. Good job. Thanks, Mark. Let's go ahead and hear from Phil. And Sarah or Ray, whoever wants to read the email, we'll get to an email after we hear from Phil.
Test, check. Greetings, Fallout Feed. Alex here with a new test.
I think I dumped the wrong file. Let me see if I have Phil's file here. Shoot. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Hi, this is Phil from San Diego with another story about the crazy Loco family. Tonight's adventures star Sammy Please Loco, my roundtable character. Sammy Please Loco woke up from a restless sleep in a panic. In his nightmare, Tommy Sullivan, the vault's chef and Sammy's best friend, really almost his father, had held a gun to Sammy's head and chuckled as he pulled the trigger. The burst of light that came when the bullet struck Sammy's skull jolted Sammy out of his sleep in a cold, clammy sweat. Why was he having these nightmares? They happened almost every night now. Then he remembered Daryl. Daryl had been shot in cold blood by another vault resident. He didn't know Daryl well. In fact, the vault had two brothers named Daryl, and Sammy wasn't sure which of the two had been killed. He only knew that Daryl hadn't had a chance. Cecilia had said that Daryl might have taken his own life, but she wasn't sure. Cecilia was wise, and Sammy thought she was very beautiful. She spoke with what Sammy had decided must be an Australian accent. Sammy didn't know much about Australia, other than that he had learned in his holotapes. It was the typical dry stuff: population, major cities, imports and exports. Cecilia, by the campfire with her eyes shining, had made it come alive for Sammy. She told Sammy stories of her childhood and reminded Sammy that the creatures of Appalachia had nothing on the creatures back home. Cecilia was an enigma, and that made her very exciting, Sammy thought. Sammy descended down the cold metal stairs of his bedroom loft down to the room below. It wasn't yet the Subway sandwich store that Sammy had envisioned. While the vault had ham and turkey, chicken, and Tommy's signature corned beef, out here in Appalachia, Sammy wondered if the recipes he had found for bloatfly loaf, ground mole rat, or squirrel stew would ever meet with customer approval. All of his experiments making bread with razor grain had been huge failures. One almost burned down his shack he had so carefully constructed inside a high-voltage tower outside of Helvetia. For the first time, Sammy was beginning to have doubts about his business plan. It seemed to Sammy that the world outside the vault was in far worse shape than the overseer had thought. The responders had failed. This Madigan character had sent his best fire-breather recruits into the belching Betty mine to prove they had what it took to fight the Scorched and the Scorched Beast. Sammy had counted over 20 fire-breather bodies down there. And if the Great War had ended, then why were nukes still dropping from the sky? Sammy was no physicist, but he knew that these nukes were different from those in the holotapes. They seemed to have no effect on buildings or other structures, yet the radiation burst was lethal within a mile of ground zero to humans, but not, of course, to the Scorched. Ghouls began to glow, and some of the flora within the impact zone took on strange characteristics that Sammy had just begun to experiment with. But these were nothing like the nukes of the 20th and 21st century that had leveled cities for many miles in all directions. So had the Free Staters failed too? Sammy followed Rose's instructions and located what little remained of the raider, Rosalind Jeffries. He found the 5 raiders' gangs' decryption keys and located the precious but broken uplink, located in Abigail Singh's bunker. Abigail, or Abby as she was called, was perhaps the brightest and most ingenious Free Stater of the bunch. Tommy Sullivan had told Sammy about the Free Staters. He said he thought they took their name from the treaty that created the Irish Free State in 1922, after a 3-year war against the British Crown. In Appalachia, the Free Staters were anarchists. Seceding from the United States just a few years before the Great War, the Free States movement built their own concrete bunkers to survive in case of nuclear devastation. At least that was Tommy's story, and Tommy was, after all, an Irishman. Still, Abby was not the trustful type, and from the grave she forced Sammy to do incremental repair on her scorched detection system, checking in frequently with Abby's bunker computer system. First, he needed to find fan motors, which he located in Raleigh Clay's nearby bunker. Apparently, these fan motors had failed from the wide temperature swings and humidity of the mire, and so Sammy's next quest was to locate heating coils to keep these new motors at a fixed temperature. 2 he found in Abby's bunker, the remainder in Ella Ames' bunker nearby. Then Sammy upgraded these motors for installation. Before leaving Abby's bunker, Abby recorded voice instructed Sammy to locate a holotape intended for Rose. Finally, Sammy traveled up and down through the mire, upgrading the scorch detection system sensors, while battling all types of dangerous creatures. If Australia truly contained creatures even more dangerous, then Sammy would not be visiting very soon. Well, that's all I have for Sammy tonight. I know we have another couple of quests that I'm not including here, but I'll try to catch up next week or next time. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Phil.
He keeps trying to get onto that Cecilia.
Oh man. Always the bionic giblets.
No, that's his dad. He's
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
a real
true.
boy, remember? Yeah.
That's true. That's right.
Thank you so much, Phil, for the feedback this evening, sir. The show's gone long, so no Fallout Terminal Velocity this week. We'll continue on with that next week. And I know that there's been a little bit of a disruption in the Fallout Terminal Velocity posting over on the Patreon, but that's because I've been bogged down with the RPM challenge recording music and everything. So hopefully next week or the week after, I'll get my feet back underneath me and be able to get the twice weekly Fallout Terminal Velocity postings going again. And speaking of which, if you would like to appear on Fallout Terminal Velocity, please contact Radioactive Rebecca at Fallout Terminal Velocity at outlook.com, and you guys can discuss which sites you'd like to watch, or what sites you'd like to cover for Fallout Terminal Velocity, which holotapes, which terminals you'd like to read. You can check in on the spreadsheet that is pinned to the top of the Facebook page about locations. If you have any favorites, you can check and see if we have done any of those already. So that's fun, and we are about to need a bunch more entries. So please, if you've ever thought about having an interest, please hop on in, and we need your help with the project. So great. Thank you so much, everybody. I'd like to thank Eddie and Clint, Will, Jen, Sarah, Alex, and Mark and Phil for their audio feedback. We do have an email from Craig. So Sarah or Ray, would someone like to hop in there with an email from Craig?
I got it. Hello, Fallout Feed. Craig here with more of Marge's adventures in Appalachia. Sorry I missed out on Rose's shenanigans, but I forgot to send anything in, and I hate her. After leaving Rose, I headed into the mire to find Abby's bunker. Imagine that Abby's dead, but she left recordings. She mentioned something about a scorch detector that I needed to get up and running. And first, I needed to repair the broken uplink. I already had some of the parts on me, so I just fixed it at her tinker bench. Abby then directed me to head to another Free State member's bunker to pick up some motor parts. Traveled up and down the mire, gathering the parts in different bunkers, picking up a lot of good loot in the process. I then headed back to Abby's bunker and assembled the motors. The motors needed to be installed in the detectors that were set up all around the mires. While I was doing that, I happened to help a broken robot named Boomer by disarming some bombs at the local mall. I don't know why I did that. The only people of the mall were scorched. After I fixed all the detectors, I needed to take a holotape to Rose to get her to install the last piece in her tower. She actually agreed to this. After leaving Rose, I headed back to Abby's bunker to see what was left to do. Now I need to head to Harper's Ferry Armory to get some schematics off a terminal there. There's a ton of turrets in the courtyard. I took them out, drawn out battle, ducking behind brick walls as needed. Weird thing was that there was almost no security in the actual armory. So once I was in, quickly made my way to the terminal that I needed. Next stop was the Capitol building in Charleston to get some information from Senator Blackwell's terminal. I ran around the building, resetting the password and whatnot, and finally got what I came for. Now that I have everything I need for the scorch detection network, I need to upload at the closest relay tower and head back to Abby's bunker to restart the system. Once it's done, she advises me to look into the Brotherhood of Steel at Fort Defiance. But that's a tale for another time. He's got a character update. I'm now level 85.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
I worked ahead on the quest so that I could actually get through the Brotherhood of Steel quest, since that's my assigned factions. I worked a little further than I expected, and I'm on one of the final quests. I'm going to hold off doing that until the group gets to doing that. I have gone through collecting power armor sets. I currently have the excavator, T45, T51, T60, and just built a set of XO1. They're all max level in various mods. I am currently looking at get together a set of Raider to complete my collection. My favorite is the T51 with the Nuka-Cola paint job and a jetpack that Alex was able to install for me. I never used the jetpack in Fallout 4, but it's super fun. I highly recommend it. That's all for now. Ad Victorium.
I did like Ad Victorium. Come on, Craig. Jeez.
He's Brotherhood of Steel.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
You made him do it.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. The jetpacks are super fun. You're right. I have not done them in 76, but if they are similar to how they are in 4, I was not a power armor guy in 4 or 76, as everyone knows. But I, had a character with like high science and stuff like that. So I did in Fallout 4 do one character that had a really good power armor and had to do the jetpack and fly around and stuff. That was really fun. Do any of you have jetpack capabilities? You're all master racers, right?
No, I did try to go somewhere the other day, I think with Christian and Eddie, who had jetpacks, and it was so sad for me.
Did you at least have marsupial?
I had nothing. So we would come to cliffs and they would just go right up the cliff, and I'd have to run all the way around. And then they'd be like, "Where'd Sarah go?" Oh,
No, I'm back here, guys.
Yeah, wait up. So
Me too. Fast travel to them.
Yeah, I did actually at one point.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah, have them just scale up the mountain and go to the next checkpoint, and you fast travel to them. That's smart.
But
good call.
I will get one someday.
Thank you for the email, Craig. Always love hearing from you. Now, one of my new projects, this weekend, I'm also working on getting Ultraside, of course, to get my Enclave Under Armour together. But another project I want to sort of start getting underway is making a mobile artillery camp. I think I mentioned I was interested in do that, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead. So I need to know what you guys think would be a good plan, like a good design of having something that I can move super quickly, super easily, will be able to plop down wherever I go, and yet still have all of my crafting that I want, but will be able to get probably multiple artillery cannons on either side of it or on one side and aim it at stuff. Like, will I be able to spin my camp and face it at stuff to shoot? Like, I don't even know how this stuff works. So what sort of camp would you guys out there recommend? Like, I've heard of these indestructible camps with concrete and stuff, but I know I need like a skinny base so you can just plop it down anywhere. Or like I've heard about these floating camps. I don't even know how this works. So I need help from the community out there, or if you guys here on the show have any suggestions. What would you do for a mobile camp? Do you guys stay put generally?
I do.
Yeah, I typically don't.
How do you move around efficiently, Ray? Do you store individual items and then rebuild and restructure, or do you have your camp in such a way that you can just plop it down?
Yeah, mine's set up so everything is in the house structure itself. And so whenever I land, I put down my my camp and then go to the stored items, and the whole thing is stored as one unit.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to figure out how to do that.
And then put some turrets on top of it or something.
I don't have
the turrets go along with it too.
Okay.
Yep, they stay right put.
I haven't been doing much building at all because I was super frustrated with the build limit on the first couple times I tried to build a camp. So I've protested by having basically only the crafting stations and no structures at my camp for the last few months now at this point. But when I'm doing this mobile artillery camp, I'm interested in actually investing in doing a really cool, sturdy structure of a camp, kind of like how Jess designed like an absolutely breathtaking, amazing structure called the Temple. I suggest anybody on Xbox, if you haven't, please go over when you run across her online and check out her new camp, because it's just breathtaking and super impressive. And if you saw any of the pictures in the Facebook group,
it is amazing. It is amazing. It needs to be featured somewhere. Like, it is breathtaking.
Yeah, Bethesda needs to retweet that picture.
Hardcore. Oh my gosh.
Alex, congratulations on getting Bethesda retweeting your Mothman power armor picture.
You're cool, I guess, Alex. I guess we'll keep you.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Oh, you know.
So yeah, Jess, I might need you to come over and help me build a cool artillery mobile camp this weekend. We'll see. We'll chat.
Yeah. I just use the single wooden base and the ladder, so the camp defies physics.
I wish there was like an elevator, little dumbwaiter or something.
Yeah, there was in 4.
Gosh, was there really? I don't remember that. There was a elevator system in Fallout 4.
Yep.
I don't know if I ever built that. I remember wasting like 2 weeks trying to set up a ball and track system that would launch fireworks as it hit triggers on the way down the tower. I could never get it to fucking work. Did anybody ever have success with that ball and track stuff or mess with that aspect of the building?
Nope.
So strange.
It is super strange.
Have we seen ball and track plans yet in Fallout 76? No. Slap them down. No, I'm not learning it. Give them away. I will not. Oh, great. Hey, Clint, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, man. It was really great.
My pleasure.
Had a very good time speaking with you, and we'll have you on the show again. Wonderful times. And thank you for your feedback all season long, and we hope you continue to provide us with great feedback for the rest of the season. Thanks again for hopping on. Sarah, it was wonderful having you on the show this evening, and Ray, thank you so much for hopping on.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Fallout Feed. We will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to ASAPodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic Podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.